never know when this starts and when it goes live, but it is good to see you guys after quite a number of weeks away. VJ, Stevie, and Mr. Knight, how are you three doing?
I missed you guys.
Good evening, all. A long
Yeah.
break.
Okay. Look at Stevie. I think there's a slight delay with you.
Really?
I, yeah. Is it just me? Are you guys noticing a slight delay when Stevie talks?
It'll
I think
probably fix
it
itself.
cut out a bit. That's all I heard. I didn't hear. I don't know about delay. It cut out a bit.
Okay. I noticed you got a new haircut and a shave, Stevie.
Yeah, it's summer now, It's summer, so maybe in the winter I'll grow the beard back.
Yeah, for
Keep me
Father
warm.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and Mike and Mac and Rascal78, how are you guys doing? Oh, you guys are all ready for today? Yes. And then we've got when is the Uptown Untouchables mega concert? Is that in
Saturday
June?
the 28th, I want to say, if I
Oh
have my
wow.
dates right. But yeah,
Wow.
it's pretty soon, and a pretty epic event convergence is going to happen. So if I can wax poetic and potentially corny for a second, the last time myself, Stevie, and Vij were all in one place was literally 19 years ago. I know, stop. It doesn't look like we're that old, but 19 years ago is the last time we were all in the same place.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys are well old, man.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Oh man.
Okay.
I'll be right
Your
back.
background just all changed.
Yeah.
Hey, last exit Brooklyn.
Oh my god.
Yeah, okay. And how about you, VJ? How's it been for you?
Good. I've been still buying music, as you can imagine. It's still a thing in my household, and yeah, everything's good. Looking forward to this Rock the Bell show in New Jersey.
Hmm.
We've got our seats now. We know where we're
Okay.
sitting, so this is good. Looking forward to that. I've been all right. Man.
Okay. For those who might not be aware, there is a massive ADF is presenting an Untouchables Uptown Records concert happening in New Jersey at the end of the month, and they've got artists from Uptown, so like Father MC. I think what's the name of those brothers? So for real. And a number. And then he's got a number of Uptown Untouchables act like Donnell Jones, intro. I think yeah. So it's definitely going to be a big event and stuff.
Yeah, it'll be good. I think so. There's two elements to it. I don't know how the layout will be because there's the hip hop side where you've got acts like Busta Rhymes, Redman, Capone and Noriega, Eric B and Rakim, and a whole slew of other artists. And then you've got the R&B side, the New Jack side. So that's, as you said, Untouchables and Uptown. So Christopher Williams, Horace Brown.
Okay.
So there's a lot of people, a lot of artists performing. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Look, yes. Okay, guys, as you're coming in, please shout so we can give a shout out. Rashan Hill, you've been around for a long time, but it's the first time you've joined us live. Dio, welcome as well. Last exit to Brooklyn. Yeah, all of you guys. So this evening, Andrew just had an issue with his computer, so he's restarting it, so he's going to join us. But this evening, hey, Derek from Minneapolis, this evening is going to be really, really special. So 33 years ago, 5 albums were released within 5 weeks of each other. I know it thinking about it now, it just seems crazy. I don't think at the time the labels thought about it. But the first to come out was I'll Be Sure's In Effect Mode. That came out at the end of May. The following week, Troop dropped their debut album. The week after that was Guy's debut album. Then the week after that was Any Heartbreak. Then the week after that, it was the Don't Be Cruel album. And it just seems crazy that these 5 classic albums all came out within 5 weeks of each other, and it's we look back at it and says, "Oh, these are great albums," but I don't think I was young old enough to realize the impact of having all these albums out at the same time, because I remember, say, "Don't Be Cruel" and all this stuff, and I just thought that's how music was. But it's madness the fact that that all happened within 5 weeks. And I think in the 90s they couldn't do stuff like that. I mean, they were very careful about, okay, this Mary's coming out, we need to wait a couple of weeks before we drop ours because of radio play. But before we go into our top 15, I'll start with you, VJ, then Stevie, then Knight, reflecting on these 5 albums within 5 weeks. Maybe some of us were too young to even remember it, but when we own the CDs and know the music now, reflecting back on how crazy it was, what are your thoughts? Start with you, VJ.
I mean, I think we were complacent. I don't think we realized how magical a period we were living in. And I think it's like that with life. We live our lives thinking that the grass is greener on the other side, or something's better, or this song's okay. I can think of 100 songs that I went into the record shop, listened to it, and I thought this was okay. And listening to it now, it sounds absolutely incredible. And to think that we had these 5 albums in such a short space of each other it's ridiculous. As a sentence, it's just, you cannot comprehend. And they're all magic. They're all magical. There's so many gems on all of these albums. So yeah, we're very lucky to have experienced them and had them all within 5 weeks of each other, which is crazy.
Yeah. Timmy Lee, welcome. Gab from Seattle, welcome. Yeah, as you guys coming in, definitely just put your stuff down so we can give you a shout out. Music tip and reviews, welcome as well. Stevie, what are your thoughts? Melodic, welcome.
I suppose looking back now, if you take any outstanding football team, I'll use this footballing analogy.
Soccer, if you're
every outstanding football team has a spine of players, which makes the team an outstanding goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, and striker. So you take these 5 albums, these are the 5 albums for me. They're the spine of what we call New Jack Swing. I think these albums mean everything to us 4 and everyone watching this tonight. We'll probably all have these albums somewhere, either physically or digitally in your collection. I think they mean a lot to us, and I think we've grew up over time listening to tracks from these albums. There'll be tracks that were your favourites back then, maybe not now. Maybe you've grown into other tracks that maybe you go into other tracks now. But either way, you always go back to these albums. I think maybe minus The Troop. That's the only debatable one. The other 4 though, your New Edition, your Guy, Bobby, and I'll Be Sure. Like I say, they're the spine of an outstanding team of New Jack Swing. So I'll leave it there.
Well said, Stevie. Mr. Knight.
I can only speak for myself now that my background. I'm moving, by the way, so that's why my shit
okay.
crazy. It was just like boxes everywhere. I'm moving, move. But anyway, 88. I was 11 years old. I was living in Atlanta, Canada. If I haven't said that for the millionth time, which basically means not a lot of access to what I would call urban, read between the lines, music. That said, I remember I'll Be Sure's Night and Day was everywhere in the summer of 88, even, on top 40 radio. And of course, Don't Be Cruel was everywhere too. So looking back, however, 88 or the summer of 88 is not only celebrated in the New Jack Swing lane, but also in the hip hop lane. I mean, when you talk about the golden age of hip hop, people talk about 88 or the summer of 88, whether it's Public Enemy, NWA, Eric B. and Rakim, Slick Rick, Biz Markie, and of course, It Takes Two, Rob Bass. The thing that I celebrate more than anything about back then was the variety. Like, even though it was all one like river, every artist, like I'll Be Sure, did not sound like Troop, did not sound like Bobby, did not sound like New Edition, right? And same thing, NWA did not sound like Eric B. and Rakim, did not sound like Slick Rick, did not sound like LL. Everyone had their own individual, identity. And I think that's something that's to be celebrated. And I think we're going to be celebrating the individual identities and what they brought to the table as far as these 5 week, 5 album situation. So thank you, Namdi. I'm just being verbose for even coming up with this. I think this might have been your idea, but if not, at least, you know, coming up with it. We're gonna have fun, baby. We're gonna have fun, everybody. We all have very different tastes too. I got a peek at some of the other choices. I'm like, man, mine are different. So hopefully some of y'all like my stuff. Right.
Yeah, and I would say I mean, I knew that some of these albums came out around the same year, but I didn't realize it was in 5 weeks. So when I interviewed Rodney B, the founder of Troop, and he said that, and I asked him, why did Attitude album come out the following year? And he says, when we came out and then New Jack Swing came out, we realized our music was dated. So they had to go, the label says, go back into the studio and we need that New Jack Swing. And so that's when, you know, they did Attitude and Not Stoop. And, you know, it's probably my favorite Troop album was the Attitude, but it was because they came out, they didn't come out first, but it came out within that first couple of weeks. And when New Jack blew up, they were like, goodness, they were doing old stuff. So it was fascinating, but also when Stevie and I and Miss J did our, you know, we did the King of Stage versus, is it Under the Cherry Moon, Under the
Blue Moon?
Under the Blue Moon. We realized how rubbish those albums were. But to go from that to Don't Be Cruel and Any Heartbreak, that's almost like, did somebody just, it's just mind blowing how you can go from that to this. So that's definitely going to be the fun part in. And I'm sure at the end we'll also rank which would be our top 5. So, you know, which in order of the 5 albums at the end of this. Jamil, welcome. Michael Drake said he got broke buying all these albums all at once. So definitely going to be crazy. Okay, so I'm going to start. So for those who are just joining us for the first time, what we tend to do, what we're doing with this episode is we got these 5 albums, 3 songs minimum from each album, and then we're going to rank them from 15 up to 1. And so it is going to be, you know, it's going to be interesting to see which song is number 1 from which album. And so, and I'll start. It goes for VJ Stevie, then the night brings it home. So number 15 for me is off the Troop album, and I think it's a song done by Chucky Booker, and you could see them doing not the moonwalk, but they were doing the shuffle. You could see that they were heavily influenced by Michael in their dance and stuff. And it's My Heart. Really like the performance, really like the song. I think if these 4 albums weren't released, we would have said, oh, that was such a good song. And when I've done the review on this album, this song stood up. But, you know, on this list, it came in last. But, you know, out of 10 songs on that album, it was a worthy 15th place. So My Heart by Troop. So Rascal, Spare My Rings is on the Attitude album. So that's why, as I said, Attitude came out in 89. VJ, sorry, go ahead.
So this is my number 15. It's Troop. It's Mamacita. I love it. It's such a lovely song. And these are 2 sets of, there's a duo that don't get enough credit is Mark Gordon and Gerald Levert. They are incredible producers. When they did their stuff together, they were magic. And I think they're from 91, I'd say, to 93, 94. The stuff that Mark Gordon and Gerald Levert did together is magic. Everybody should know that stuff. An added bonus on this particular track, the production is Mark Gordon, Gerald Levert, and also Eddie Levert Sr. So that's very, very interesting. So that's my number 15.
Okay. Wow. Some people are putting Happy Relationship at 15. I like that. So I think they're putting Troop at one of their songs at the bottom. Go ahead, Stevie.
Like I say, we are. I'm going to use another footballing analogy. Yeah, the football season's over now. We're in summer, and in the summer you get friendlies, you get, you know, charity competitions, you get World Cup like qualifiers. So tonight I've rolled out, in terms of track selection, I've rolled out a very much B team selection, a team of youngsters coming in, a team of tracks that you might not necessarily go for. So it might come as a bit of a shock to you tonight, but I can assure you, over the last 2 or 3 years, these are now my go-to tracks on the albums.
Okay.
Changed dramatically over the years. I thought, what should I go for? The tracks that I used to listen to all the time as a teenager and loved, or, 30, 35 years on, should I pick the tracks that I listen to all the time now? It's a real tough one. So number 15, my first entry for Mr. Bobby Brown. There's a couple of tracks near the end of the album which no one ever mentions, no one ever talks about. And these two guys here, Andrew and BJ, picked a track on the New Edition album that really surprised me as one of their favourites. And I must admit, I've been listening to that a lot, and I can see why you picked it, but it was not an obvious track I'm coming home talking about. I think there's a track on this Bobby Brown album. It's very similar. It starts off with a phone call.
Yep.
Talking away, and then there's the 808.
Yes.
I thought, this is amazing.
Yes.
Like ballad mid-tempo track. Yes. So my number 15 is Bobby Brown, All Day, All Night. Give it a chance, folks.
Okay.
It's a pretty amazing track. It sounds great now. Sounds really good.
Okay, so no, I was going to say, if you picked your top 3 songs from the Don't Be Cruel, and that would be in one of your...
That's my first entry, yeah. Like I say, we're in summer. I've rolled out my B team. A lot of those youngsters that don't normally get a game, they're coming out tonight, folks.
Go ahead, B.
It's a surprising entry, and I'm glad that you picked such an obscure for that from that album compared to the other heavy hitters. But really good song, great choice, CB.
Okay, Andrew.
I am racing the clock because I wanted to comment on what Stevie said. So I'm trying to remember Winfield. I think his name is Paul Winfield. Okay, so Paul Winfield he played a character. I think his name was Lionel on 227. When Bobby Brown guested on 227, everyone was trying to get up in Bobby's business. And at one point, Lionel comes out with a bathrobe, and on the bathrobe says "All Day, All Night." So to me, it was kind of funny how both that song and "I'll Be Good to You" got plugged on that show. So props to that, Stevie. Number one. Number two, I'm also with the song I chose. It was not a song that I played back in the day. But after I reviewed the album, it just popped out to me. And I was like, wait a minute, I like this one. My head is, I'm grooving to this one. So to match up with Namdi and Veej, it is a Troop song. And I was getting a little insecure because Happy Relationship was one that I thought about. And then She's My Favorite Girl also made me go, I love that, the synth on that, right? Mm-hmm. But no. I had to go with a Gerald Levert vibe song, and it kind of goes, and I like that, and I like that. I just that song, how is that not a single? Anyway, I like that at number 15. I'm pretty sure Artie the Prairie Dog put that there as well. So far, we're on the same page. But I like that is my number 15, and I said that 3 times now or 2 times.
Very similar to Casanova. You could see some Casanova vibe with that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Did not like that back in the day, but I like that now.
Yeah. I see what you did there.
Yeah, Casanova's grown on us as well. That's interesting, isn't it? How a song back then, you don't listen to it, and then.
Oh no, Casanova was massive when I was a kid. Oh goodness, that was. Yeah, that was It was massive. Yeah, that Casanova.
I was on top of the pops, that one, VJ. I do remember.
Yeah, it was a big song.
Yeah.
But I don't think I listened to it as much. And it's grown in a way. I think it's matured like a fine wine. It is. It's an exceptional song. It's not good. It's exceptional.
Yeah, Casanova was big. And that's why I like that. It sounds like that. So number 14 to me, I'm going back to a Gerald Levert, Mark Gordon production, and it is Troop with Mamacita. And I would say that this particular track was, I was in boarding school, and we heard Mamacita. It sounded like stuff that we would say. So it was really fascinating to see and hear, the title track. But I always say that the first time I saw Troop, especially with this, is that I'm like, well, these guys are dancers who know how to sing. You know, the concept is we have singers and they know how to dance, but with Troop, it felt like they were dancers who could sing. And, you know, we just come off of this whole breaking Turbo and Ozen, and that was massive. And so now we're seeing these guys coming in and doing all these moves. It was mind blowing. But I think Mamacita, it's White number 14. It's just that it isn't as hard hitting as some of the other songs on there. But as I said, it's a song that stood the test of time, and a very signature Troop song with them introducing themselves and showcasing their talent. So number 14 for me is Troop Mamacita.
Nice. I think
You had a 15, right? Yeah.
Pretty much on par there. My number 14. Let's see if you guys can guess it. It is a Kyle West and Albie Shaw production, and it has guitar by Teddy Riley. What song could that be?
Oh, I think I know what that is.
Say it if you know it, bro.
Ballad. It's a ballad. It's got to be a ballad.
It's Naturally Mine. So my number 14 is Albie Shaw's Naturally Mine. The guitar by Teddy, and Kyle West can do no wrong. I think Kyle West deserves a lot of recognition for what he did for his cousin Albie Shaw. But sampled in 9 songs, including Tupac's "This Life I Lead" from 1996. And if you listen to how Naturally Mine is sampled in that, it sounds amazing. You can't not hear it when you listen to that Tupac track. You can't not hear it. Brilliant. So Naturally Mine, number 14 for me.
Yeah, I mean, I have to shout out to Kyle West. He's got a new IG account because he got lost, and so I was in touch with him last week. In fact, he sent me a message, and I thought it was because it was K West, and I just thought it was Knight that was sending me a message, and I'm like, oh, what's Knight trying to say? And it was Kyle saying, "Hey, I've got this new account. I'm still trying to set up some stuff musically, and once I get it set up, then he'll make his way back onto Halftime Chat to give us an update." But definitely, okay.
Nice.
And probably as we go forward, some of the other tracks that when I get onto any of the Albie Shaw tracks, I can talk about some of the other things that Carl said about that. Stevie, number 14.
Yeah, it's interesting, VJ. You know, I'm happy you picked that track. It floors me, that track.
So good.
Oh, his vocal on it. His vocal on that track is very strong. But 14 it's the first entry for Albie Shaw to me. If I'm really honest about this particular track, it's a New Jack track. The production, it's too much. It's an absolute clatter bomb. Clatter, the drums in it, and they're very heavy. They're very, very clattery. They do date the track. Technically, the reverb coming off the bass. There's a lot of bass in the track. There's a lot of it's like almost recording it. Too much reverb. All that aside, just something about this track that I'm just drawn. It just draws me in. It's like a film that just. It's the backing vocals from Terry and Monica. It's the song. It's the vibe. The vibe just draws me in so much. And I know no one's probably picked this track, but Just a Taste of Loving. Think about the production, the drums. Think about the reverb and all the exploding off it, and how it kills your ears almost. But them backing vocals just, I don't know what it is. I love this track. I cannot stop playing it.
Okay.
Just a Taste of Loving.
Wow.
Yeah.
So none of the big 4 tracks on the album. Okay.
And you mentioned Terry and Monica, Terry Robinson, and Carl West, and Namdi. You mentioned his new account is Key West, which is the group.
Oh, the group, yeah.
Key West, the unsung, the album that never came out on Uptown that just drives me up the wall. I don't understand it. Some brilliant songs by them, and Carl West again and Terry Robinson, brilliant.
Of the good, is it not the good girls? The girls.
Yeah, the girls. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
My number 14 is. I'm gonna mess this up. Ooh, this love is so real that I won't let you go. So, number 14 for me is my first Al B. Shore appearance. Ooh, This Love Is So. So we've
Very
got
nice.
2 more to go, I believe. Yeah, 2 more to go. So three each album.
Wow.
Nice and simple.
Okay. Okay. Man, I don't know if I stayed on point with my selections. I mean, I kind of went for the hitters. I think I went for my favorite stuff. Um, but rounding up number 13 for me, it's also a true song. And my favorite song on, as I said, my favorite album from Troop is the Attitude album. And if that was included, they would have, a lot of their songs would have been much higher. Um, but no, this number 13 is my favorite of the debut album. Just like Romeo and Juliet, Jack and Jill were still in love forever. We're still in love. Oh goodness, I love We're Still in Love. I mean, I love ballads, but when it's Steve's voice and it just, and I think when they came out they said, yeah, we've got a hit, we've got an album, yeah, we've got this sewn down, this is we've got this locked, and I didn't think that they anticipated New Jack Swing coming in and just changing the game. Um, who were the is it Force MDs that had what was that ballad they had with
Tender Love.
Tender Love? Yeah, I think so. During that time, you had these ballads, and it was all nice and stuff.
Love is a
Before,
House.
yeah, I mean, and so that was what was rhyme. So they had the ballads, and I'm sure Still in Love was going to be massive. But then, as I said, we had the hardcore stuff, and we'll probably talk a little bit about how the West Coast were left behind. They weren't not just left behind. De Levant, Stevie, and also Zulu from the West Coast, they didn't get airplay on the East. That meant they didn't get really, they didn't get the kind of love to go big. It was very regional, and West Coast gave them love because troops from California. But I think it also affected them until they did the New Jack stuff in Attitude. But I love this song, love the tenderness about it and stuff like that. So, Still in Love, number 13, Troop.
That's an incredible track. That incredible track.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, VJ.
That Tonderai, I love that song. If it's Games You're Playing by the Girls, brilliant.
Yeah.
Very nice song. Very good choice there. My number 13 is another Troop song. It is produced by Barry White's godson. It is none other than the Chucky Booker production. She's my favorite girl. I love it. Very, very nice song. it needed to be in here. And Chucky Booker is another man that does not get the level of respect that he deserves. Incredible musician, like through the yin yang, like him and Derek DOA Allen together, killer combo. But anyway, that's for
You
another.
got D Luke on that track as well.
Yeah. Very nice. So she's
Great
my
track.
favorite girl. Is number 13 for me.
Great track.
Okay. What about you, Stevie?
I've done this top 15. The version that VJ's got is my second draft. So I did a few late changes. So it's the third draft. It's
Right.
done a few changes. Sorry, VJ. But it's my first entry from Guy, and I've left out a big Guy track to put this one in. I think, what am I doing?
You got to do what you got to do, man.
Well, I thought to myself, the big Guy track I left out, I loved back then. But I'm just playing this track all the time. I thought, how can I leave it out if this is? I'm always playing this at the moment. Again, no one's going to really pick this one, and I think it's a lot to do with listening to Timmy Gatlin and the backstory of the making of the Guy album. And he's all over this track, and it's very melodic. It's got a great guitar groove. It's a very understated track, but I think as a song, it's a lot of people can relate to this song as well. And I think it has stood the test of time, even though it doesn't get mentioned a lot. But number 13 is Guy, My Business, the final track. Yeah.
Huh.
Love it.
Business.
How can you not love the track though?
I have to agree with you there, dude. I wanted to put my business in so badly. I did. But then it's difficult, man. You
Shout
can
to
only
Timmy
pick-
Gatlin. Timmy Gatlin could be in the chart somewhere. The unsung
sorry.
one, the unsung heroes of New Jack Swing.
He really is. He really, really is.
Yeah. It's amazing that he didn't like Merry Go Round of Love because they could have got him. Gene had them write it when Timmy wasn't around,
Oh, wow.
and and so you could, based on Timmy's attitude, you can see when he was writing it, and yeah, definitely, it's definitely an interesting track because I didn't, what? I'll be honest. When I listened to Business, I'm like, who's this guy? Because I couldn't see him in the video, and it didn't sound like Aaron, it didn't sound like Teddy, and it didn't sound like Damien. So I didn't, until to the backstory, I just didn't. I thought I was playing. Mine was playing games with me. Like it just sounded like, who's this guy? But yeah, definitely.
I mean, the track that I've left out, I'd originally had to Spend the Night. But them drums now, they just sound like rock drums on the track. They just date the track so heavily, which I'm kind of going against what I said about the I'll Be Sure track about how dated that sounds. But this My Business is just, there's nothing dated about it. The production,
it's fantastic. It's such a brilliant song. I'm so glad you put it in there, man. I'm so glad it's in the list. That's really nice to hear, man.
Yeah, well, it's good. I think that's why I'm enjoying the fact that we're bringing out tracks, and I probably stuck to the script, but anyway, nice.
All right. So 2 things. Namdi, I had a similar experience as you. I actually first heard the Guy album. Someone dubbed me a tape. And so when I heard You Can Call Me Crazy and My Business, I was like, did someone just like mix in some other group here? Like, especially with You Can Call Me Crazy, I thought, is that I'll Be Sure? Like, but then when I saw the real cassette, yes, I'm like, oh, so this is really Guy. And again, this is back in like early. So number 1. Number 2, there's a connection here. So Naturally Mine is my number 13 for I'll Be Sure. And there's a Troop Naturally Mine connection. And I'm not sure if everyone's familiar, but there is a remix to I Will Always Love You from the Attitude album that has that same, that dun 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 dun, and it's like, it's the same thing. And it's just like, it's taken from Naturally Mine and put on the remix. And it's so dope. Look it up on YouTube if you haven't heard it, but there's a dope remix of that song. It was very hard to find, but now YouTube has it. And man, I just got to Troop had some really great remixes that did not get any love. It was that one and Sweet November. Look for them. They're incredible. So number 13, Naturally Mine, and the beat goes on.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Naturally Mine. I'm happy you picked that. It does. It floors you, that track, when you listen to it. Just
Marco, welcome. Ezekiel, welcome. Yeah, as you guys come in, we'll give you shouts outs and stuff, but we appreciate the fact that you guys are also going through the top 15 and giving your 13 up to 1 as well. Up to number 12. And I went for so this is I've already done my 3 troops. So number 12 for me is a song that at first I wasn't too keen on, but it sort of grew on me, and it was and I think listening to Timmy talk about sort of the making of this track, and which links to this particular track links to oh Lord, I can't remember the other track now. It links to the track that do you know the one that I'll Be Sure supposed to be featured on? I can't remember now.
Oh, You Can Call Me Crazy, right?
You Can Call Me Crazy.
Yeah,
yes.
sure.
Okay. So Timmy, for those who didn't realize, Timmy had written 2 songs for I'll Be Sure because they had so many tracks. And then Gene Griffin comes in and says, You Can Call Me Crazy is too fly. We need it back. But by that time, I'll Be Sure had already sung the first verse. And it was like, nope, we need it back. Then Timmy's singing the second verse. But I'll Be Sure still remains on the chorus. But Timmy was like, no, we can't be doing that, man. He says, that's not great. But Gene was like, "No, it's too fly. We need that track." So hence, I'll Be Sure was featured on that album. But at the same time, If I'm Not Your Lover, featuring the remix is featuring Slick Rick, but the first one really funky, really just really all over the place. And I remember listening to it, thinking, "Wow, this is really funky kind of track." And so If I'm Not Your Lover, written by Timmy, produced by I'm sure Teddy, featured on that, but alongside I'll Be Sure. But If I'm Not Your Lover, and I had another song, an I'll Be Sure song that I had to admit to have If I'm Not Your Lover. So, and that was night and day. I had to take, it had to choose between the two, and I really didn't. And I recognized that actually I was never a big fan of Night and Day.
Wow.
I was never really a big fan of Night and Day. So
I'm having an out of body experience right now.
as an album is great, but if I had to pick three favorites, it would have been number 4. It was number 4.
You do this every podcast, though, Nam. Come out with a good revelation.
It was number 4.
Oh, mate.
It was number 4. I mean, there were 2 other songs that 3 other songs that were that I love better. So it's number 4. If I had to pick, my top 5 I'll Be Sure songs of NFX, no, Night and Day would be number 4. But the other, If I'm Much Love, would get it to number 3, and the other 2 tracks.
And forget you two, Stevie and Knight. Yeah, in Namdi's defense, this is a bloody hard list to do. 3, come on, man, think about it. You've got to do a top 3 from each of these albums. It's a ridiculous ask. So Namdi, forget about it. Forget these 2.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, so that was it. So If I'm Not Your Lover, even I like the Slick Rick version, but I thought it was that's my number 12. Vij, what about you?
My number 12 is a Troop song. It's the only other Chucky Booker production. I am a big fan of the West Coast extended mix of this song. It's the song called My Heart. I love this song. This song is magic. I can imagine Stevie listening to this a lot at his place. I just have a feeling he would be. It's been sampled in one song, Granite in Funk's My Heart from 2005. I didn't know it before I heard it today, but it's an interesting use of the sample. And Chucky Booker, I cannot say enough about him. I'm not going to get to talk about him again on this podcast. No more Chucky Booker songs available. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much, Troop and Chucky, for this song, My Heart. Thank you.
I gotta jump in really quick. Vij, that West Coast remix is bananas. I mean, I have like walked the streets of New York City just going to work. Just like it's just and it takes you right back to 1988, and you can imagine on the radio on the mix show, like, we got new Troop. It's like 8 minutes or something. It's so not. Thank you. You're the only other human being I've ever encountered in life who has mentioned that West Coast remix. So I just had to
amazing, very brilliant.
Because it's the thing is, yes, the East Coast so dominated like the whole game, right? Actually have a West Coast. They actually call it the West Coast remix, and you can just imagine, like, this is LA. This is what we're doing, man. And it has its own flavor. It's like how the Heartbreak. I'm sorry, I'm gonna shut up in a second. It's how the Heartbreak album had all those remixes too, right? Like the Crucial and everything. Well, Troop, they had theirs too, and that was one of them. So yeah, all right.
Yeah, but we learned from both De Levant and what's the name from Zulu, Stevie, Mike C.
Yes.
Yeah, we learned that there was politics with West Coast R&B. It wasn't until the Chronic that the West Coast got its respect. So definitely. So NMAC. There was a limit. You have to have 3 songs per album. So we're doing top 15, 5 albums. So we have to do 3 Troop. You can't just fill it up with Guy, and you had to have 3 from each of those five albums, which is probably why it's a tough one.
And M Mac's right. We were all trying to find the cheat code to see how we can put other songs in this. Yeah, Namdi's rules were very, very clear. We couldn't manipulate the system. We tried.
No, we had to respect Stevie.
Just there was a comment before, it's kind of been missed, from Michael Drake saying that he went to school with Terry.
Nice.
Terry and Monica.
Oh, very nice.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
Just
Very nice.
a bit of when I went to school, I didn't know anybody who was into New Jack. I didn't know what New Jack Swing was. But anyway, getting back to my number 12, it's interesting. During the NGS3 forum days, the amount of albums that I didn't have, that looking back, I used to compile lists of CDs that I did, and I'd just get them off Amazon. And I'm so glad I got a lot of them now, because there's a lot of them are so bloody expensive. But the first Troop album I didn't get. I didn't even. All I knew was I had that 12-inch of Mama C. I didn't even have the album until about the mid 2000s. So it was an album that I got from reading reviews on the NGS3. So, and actually, this Troop album was the easiest one to pick 3 tracks from. I thought straight away I knew me 3. The other 4, I'm like, oh, I'm nearly crying leaving a track out.
It's so hard. And
The new edition one was killing me.
And look at Marco's comment. Marco said, "Where are the new edition tracks?" I suspect they're still to come.
Yeah,
Higher
they're
up
much
on the
higher.
list. Just a feeling. I don't know, man.
But anyway, number 12 is Troop. It's my first entry from Troop, and it is My Heart. Such a groove, such a funk. Great. I think you said it all, VJ. It's just a great track. Brilliant track.
And the East Coast mix is brilliant too. There's an East Coast.
I just wished I'd heard it back then when I was a teenager. I didn't even hear it back then.
I didn't hear it until a few years after that, so I missed it at the time. But hearing that when it was fresh would have been outrageous. It would have been something else.
Block D. I used to be on the NGS3 Weekly back in the 2000s. Okay.
That's what's up,
Like most of us.
What's up?
Yeah, Steve Russell was Mini Michael, and if you see the dancing in the video of My Heart, you could see them just doing the whole stuff. I mean, yeah. Anyway, Andrew.
Even his voice, God, I gotta say really quick, like even I remember in '92, I was revisiting Lady in My Life, and I was hearing the "Don't you go nowhere" at the end. I'm like, oh, that's like. I know where Steve Russell got his whole steez from that. I was just like, wow. So of course Steve eventually redid Lady in My Life, but anyways, that's that. There's more I could say there, but I'm gonna keep it moving. So for some weird mutant reason, this was actually not that difficult for me to do. However, there's one album that I felt like there were some criminal omissions. I still don't feel good about it to this day. So for me, the hardest album to only pick 3 from was Guy. So Guy makes its debut on my top 15. And the fact that you guys will know what it's like. Seriously, Andrew, you let that one off. You let that one off. I'm like, yeah, I know. Trust me, I know. But anyway, at number 12, it's Goodbye Love. And because Aaron Hall is such an amazing vocalist, like there's no way I would even try to like sing Aaron Hall. So there'll be no guy. Well, I might do a little, the non-Aaron Hall songs, I'll try. But if it's Aaron Hall, it's a respect thing. Like I'm not even gonna try. But anyway, Goodbye Love is amazing, trust me. But there's some other songs that did not make the list that are damn amazing. So there it is.
Okay. Interesting where Goodbye Love is placed on your list. But at least it's on your list.
What up, Theo?
Okay, so somebody asked about New Edition. So at number 11. Now this song seems to be a national favorite. It's one of those things where, Candy comes on and everyone goes on the dance floor and does the dance. So this song, when I do the polls, I used to say, here, what are your 3, here's 5 songs. Which of them is your favorite? And this song kept winning. And I told Jimmy I had to ban it. I can no longer put this on a poll because it wins all the time. However, if I'm thinking back in the day when this album came out, it probably wasn't one of my favorites on the album. There was other songs that I loved more, but it had to make my top three. And I can't sing. I can't sing like Ralph. Neither can I sing like Johnny. But Can You Stand the Rain is at number 11 for me. It's as I think there were two other tracks on the album that I actually appreciated more. And when I do listen to it, I can see the appeal, I can see the whole thing, but there were two other tracks that I felt I appreciated more from New Edition, but it made my top three, and which was probably, it was the hardest one to do for me, was the Any Heartbreak trick, picking up three songs. And so Can You Stand the Rain is at number 11. Yes.
Nice.
Pick up that comment from Richard Ashcroft, the BBC Two.
What was that one?
No, it's one that says BBC Two had a program called Behind the Beat. It's a bit further down. Yeah, this one.
Oh,
yeah, I'd like to
nice.
know when that was, because I never saw that.
I want to see that.
I never saw that. I saw what was that song with what was that show with Normsky?
Dance Energy.
So I know there was Teddy Riley interview on there. I remember that, but that would have been a few years later. So this would have been much earlier, Teddy. So the 88 Teddy, 88, 89.
Is it on the iPlayer? I don't know if there's any episodes of it on the iPlayer. There's Doctor Who on there from 1979. Behind the Beat.
Yeah, okay.
And Richard Ashcroft, I still think you're the lead singer of The Verb. You're just not telling us. It's all good.
BJ,
Mine. Before I say my number 11, I'm just going to say a couple of shout outs quickly, because then I've done it. Just wanted to shout out to some people that contributed today and are listening from home. Mon, Bashir, Mandeep, Brandon, Renge, Zach, Paul, Rajmak. And I think Reggie Hudlin might be listening today. So if you're listening, nice to chat to you today, and hope you're enjoying the show if you did get a chance to listen to it. My number 11 is an Albie Shaw song. It is the most sampled song out of all of my list, or any song that I've come across in anybody's lists. It's been sampled 50 times, including in LL Cool J's Lounging from 95 and some other big songs. It is none other than the song that didn't make Namdi's list, Albie Shaw's Night and Day.
Wow.
Love it, love it, love it. Massive, massive song. And I love that there's some French versions of it, and some strange other alternate.
yeah, the Spanish ones as well, stuff, right?
Very strange things.
Mm-hmm.
And one other thing I wanted to mention about Albie Shaw, there is somewhere, and I've heard it, I don't have it, but there is a demo version of Albie Shaw's In Effect Mode, which is somewhere out in the ether, with about 40 alternate mixes of all of the different songs. Wow. So if you're an Albie Shaw fan, and if you've got it or you've heard it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Absolutely stunning. Night and Day, number 11, done.
There's a House Party 3 reference in the comments. That's really cool. Reggie put me in a house party, me and Immature. That would have been House Party 3.
Yes, sure that was number 3, yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Love it. Small
That's
world.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Stevie.
Number 11. It's the first entry from New Edition. This was so hard to pick 3 tracks from. Whose phone is that?
I'm not sure it's gonna keep going.
Should we wait for him to come back?
No, let's carry on. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
I'm just thinking, is that Father MC on the phone for Namdi?
It could be. Do you know the one thing I wish we could have done? Like, we should maybe, if we can, do a show with remixes, because like leaving out some of the guy remixes, it's hard. And another remix that would have New Edition. This song would easily make my top 15 list. Is New Edition's Crucial? It would have been on my list. Of course, it would be on the list.
Oh, that's an incredible mix.
It's incredible. Anyway.
Spend the Night. I'm sorry, I cannot do the album version of Spend the Night on Guy. I can't do it. After hearing the remix, exactly. It's like, give me the remix or it's nothing. Like that's how, for me, I'm a big remix person. And I didn't. No, forget it, man. Like, nah, I can't go back to the regular.
So good, man. That, oh my God. Anyway.
Right, number 11, after Namdi just took that call from Father M2 new additions. Oh gosh. It kills me to be at number 11 because it's on another day. It can be number 1, but it's this way it gets hard now. Boys to Men. I pick Boys to Men.
Nice.
It just, I think as guys we all relate to that song.
Hell yes.
Yeah, man.
You grow up with the production from Jam and Lewis, that 808. They've done so many times on other tracks. A killer track. It pains me to be at number 11.
But you have to think, Stevie, if it's in your top 3 of the album, it's worthy. 3 tracks for the album, so it's in your top 3. So where it's placed on the top 15, that's a different story. But it's a lot of tracks that got missed out. So I think any of them, I mean, I thought in the past I'll probably be crucified for saying "Can You Stand the Rain" at number 11, but because it's in the top 3, it's almost acceptable. So yeah, that's definitely a good track.
And Stevie, I just wanted to share something about Boys to Men. This is New Edition's greatest hits, if you can see that.
Yeah, I have that one. Yeah.
Boys to Men, the remix version is actually on this CD, which is, it's not easy to find, but if you wanted that, it is on this CD.
I do remember putting that on.
Yeah, very cool.
But it's a nice, like I say, the remix of that, the extended remix is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Heck, yes. And basically, I feel like that remix was supposed to be on deck, like after Any Heartbreak. Had New Edition continued their run, that would have been the final single. But it was like, nope, we're splitting up. And then they came back around and said, hey, Lou Silas, can you just like take that from the vaults from 89 and throw it on 91? Sure, because it just has that vibe, man. I love that song. I love that remix. I love the original. And now I'm like, damn, I think I should have put that one.
I thought the New Edition album for you would have been the hardest to pick 3 tracks from, Andrew.
No. Believe it or not, like no, because it's like
there already.
I know that, but like with Guy, it's like, man, like it's blasphemy, like the omissions that were left off.
Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah.
So speaking of Guy, yes, Guy is at number 12. Another song.
Number 11.
Oh shit, my bad. Yeah, number 11. And it's Piece of My Love. And I remember thinking to myself, which one do I like better, Piece of My Love or Goodbye Love, right? And and to me, it's like I kind of at first I lean Goodbye Love, but then when you hear that doom 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 doom, my brain's like, oh sure, like it's just like this is like, come on, I do love you. You can have a piece. I mean, come on, and then Tell Me Baby, but it sounds like you said something else. Anyway, it's like that is just literally, that song is like foundational. Like to say you don't like that song, I think is grounds for like being ejected into space. Like, yo, like this is like what? Like you just lost all credibility in music if you like R&B. I need to explain. Anyway, Piece of My Love is number 11. I got excited again. But again, it's like there's only one more Guy song, right? But you haven't heard me say I like Groove Me, like
there's still hope, Andrew. There's still hope.
Oh, I'm just saying, like what? And then Spend the Night is actually, if it was a remix, forget it. It would be in here.
Can I say something about Piece of My Love? And
thank you, RD. That's the one. Anyway, you can have a piece of my love. Waiting for you. Anyways,
that's the one. This is going to wind up a lot of Aaron Hall fans. A lot. So I was at there's a guy called Robert who people don't talk about anymore. And he was apparently influenced by Aaron Hall or something. I don't know. But I was at his concert. He did an album called Born Into the 90s. And I was at his first concert they'd ever done for that tour. And on that show at Hammersmith Odeon, as it was called back then, he performed Guy's Piece of My Love.
Wow.
And isn't that just weird? Like
I would love
after the fact. This is I'm talking 92. This is around 92.
Mm.
So imagine all this vitriol that people have for this chap Robert, because he apparently copied Aaron Hall or whatever people believe, and he thought, you know what, this is my first tour, I'm just going to sing Aaron's best ballad at the time. I'm just saying it was a bit of a mad one. It didn't compute, but that was just, I thought I'd share that with you.
I love it.
You know, with Peace Mellow, it was the one song that sounded like muffled. I don't know if you remember, it sounded muffled when you listen to it.
Sure.
And I asked Timmy, and he says, yeah, because Aaron sang in a bathroom at Teddy's house with the mic. That was how Teddy recorded the album. And so by the time they went to the studio to mix it, he didn't re-sing it in the studio. So that was the version recorded in Teddy's mom's house. And so I said, it sounded like he was in a closet. He said, yeah, because he sang in the bathroom. So yeah, Piece of My Love was the foundation for a lot of 90s R&B slow jams, which Teddy kind of walked away from, but everyone else from H-Town and Jodeci and everyone, even R. Kelly, picked up that vibe of that kind of boom, boom, boom with the bass and everything. As I said, for those who didn't know, I moved to the States in 92 and I was living in the South, Alabama. That was the kind of slow jams that everyone would get on the dance floor with, that kind of track. And it always disappoints me that Teddy kind of moved away from that type of R&B production and everyone else picked it up. And that song just, even Make It Last Forever, that type of rich R&B slow jams, he just moved away from it. So it always disappointed me that he just kind of walked away and everyone else took up and ran with it. Anyway. It's me. Okay, number 11. Yes, number 10. Sorry. Number 10. Yes. So this was my second track from In Effect Mode, I'll Be Sure. And it was, I just loved the production on this. Hey, John. So we've got John from Truth.
What up, John? Woo! Yes. Truth is in the building.
We've got a different John from Truth. And he's definitely welcome, John. Always appreciate it. Always shows love. He's been on this show probably more than anyone I can imagine. Always appreciated, John. Number 10 for me, I'll Be Sure track. Love the production. This was when Kyle was like, okay, we're gonna take this New Jack stuff and we're gonna do our own version of it. Rescue Me. I just love the whole production. I mean, it was like, I would have thought Teddy was part of this, but it was what I would say one of my favorite I'll Be Sure tracks on that album is Rescue Me. But it's got one more that just beats it slightly, but Rescue Me is at number 10 for me.
Very nice choice. Very nice.
You know what I will say about that track, Namdi, is the last minute and a half of that track where it just breaks down to the drums, and it's one of the most creative bits I've heard in New Jack Swing, because there's all sorts of drum machines going off. It's like a fireworks display. I don't know how Kyle West did that, how they programmed them multiple drum patterns going all off. Absolutely incredible on that.
And the other thing, like with the I'll Be Sure, we give credit to I'll Be Sure and Carl West for producing it, but you got to give a shout out to Rowie Shamir as well, because he was incredible mixer engineer on that album. What he did, he's a magician as well. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Veej, what's yours?
What are we on? Number 10?
Yeah.
Yep. Number 10. So finally, I can include a song from these guys. They're here. So my song, my number 10 is a Jam and Lewis production. It's about rain and about standing it. It's called Can You Stand It? Can You Stand the Rain? It's sampled in 47 songs.
Wow.
And I feel bad putting it at number 10, but I feel bad putting any of these songs in any position because they're all so good. But my number 10 is Can You Stand the Rain? And I feel bad. I'm thinking about Johnny's vocals in that, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this should be higher. but it isn't. It is what it is.
VJ, really quick. I was actually randomly thinking. It's so funny because, well, it's not funny because we're talking about Troop. So I was on Apple Music just going through Troop's catalog, right? And then I stumbled upon "Gots to Be," that B2K. Of course they did it, right? But it's like, it's a Troop song, basically, in my opinion. So when they go, "Whatever's on your mind," it goes, "Through all the good times and bad times." Like, that's a nice little nod to "Can You Stand the Rain" on that song.
Yeah.
It made me wonder if one of the 47 tracks you mentioned was like "Gots to Be." Just made me think. You can
Which
like
song
get
was
back.
that?
So it's called "Can You Stand the Rain." Through the good times and bad times, like, through all the good times and bad times. Like, that's actually in the song of "Gots to Be," and that's from "Can You Stand the Rain." But I don't want to derail the conversation. Just wanted to throw
Got to Be by which
B2K.
B2K. Okay, I'll tell you. You guys carry on. I'll tell you later on.
Steve Bay.
Number 10. What can I say about this track? It's an incredibly romantic track, and you just don't hear tracks like this today in this era of, especially if you're single at the moment. There's a big divide in singles at the moment. Men going their own way, women want. I've said it on various podcasts. Women wanting a million things before you can even go on a date with her, and it's causing a huge division between men and women. But I just wish if they just listen to this track, because it just goes back to love, goes back to romance, and it actually makes you want to have that they're talking about in the song. And it kills me it's at number 10 because it's a brilliant track. It's Troop Still in Love. My God. My God, what a song that is.
Lovely
Just
shot,
like
man.
Romeo, Juliet.
The generation that's coming up, they need to hear songs like this. They need to pass songs like this to want to go out and find a lady or find a man and, procreate and keep the human race going. It means a lot, that song. It really does. It's a deep song.
Yeah. As I said, my favorite track on that album, "Still in Love," and yeah, definitely. It as we keep saying, I think if it had come out a year earlier, it would have really probably been would have done much better. But yeah, it was a tough 5 weeks.
What a song! What a song that is.
Yeah.
And Andrew,
Nice.
that doesn't sample B2K.
Okay.
But Steve Russell did a version of "Gots to Be" in 2010.
And there's actually on Apple
2012,
Music, there's one that says 2025 June 8th. No lie. I'm like, how the heck is it, right? How the heck is it today? And I'll send you guys a screenshot later. I know last time I said, hey, there's a different version of "You're Not Coming, Can't You Stand the Rain." You guys are like, yeah, you're tripping. We're the birds. But no, it's not. I'm not crazy. When I see these things on here, it's real. But anyway, at number 10. Now that you are here with me, baby, let's do it right. Oh, baby. Anyways, you guys get the point. Bobby Brown's first appearance on my countdown. At number 10, we've got "Rock With Ya." And I was going to sing the chorus, but I'm like, nah, let me just quit while I'm ahead. So there it is. Bobby Brown, number 10, "Rock With Ya." Here we go.
Yeah, it's interesting that it at the time when I remember 98 when 98, 99, really loving that particular track on the album more so than "Every Little Step." That's "Rock With You." Definitely. Dal Simmons says it was torture trying to get Bobby to record that. He was all over the place, man. It was just too much. I mean, I think, yeah, they were like, man, having to strap him down. And he says, man, I don't think this guy's going to live past up to 30 because he was just everywhere. But he knew how to deliver it.
Yes, he did. Signature song.
So John is saying that Troop do have 11 new songs out on iTunes because people might be wondering if they should release some stuff. So yes,
I will check that out.
They've got another remix featuring Chris Brown, he says, and Fat Joe. So yes, so Troop still making music. Yeah. Okay. Number 9. My second new edition track, and I would say that this is when I always remember this video, when I watch the video, I always remember my sense of who the hell is this guy standing in front and taking the shine? And why are the three original guys at the back? I could never understand. And I'm like, who's this guy? Johnny just got in and he's there singing in the front. So it always pisses me off when I do see the video. But then, when you listen to Jimmy talk about how they had to integrate him. But Knight, you just recently found a different mix of Not My Kind of Girl, which seems a little bit more rich and full. Even Jam seemed a little surprised that you found it. What do you want to say about this?
I just want to say that, like, for the longest time, I heard slight different mixes in If It Isn't Love and then Can't Stand the Rain. I didn't tell anybody because I think people would think I was crazy. Then I lowered my guard and told you guys laughed at me. And then I was like, okay, I guess I am crazy. But then I was just doing my thing. And I hear Ricky go, "You're the kind of girl I've always dreamed of." And I was like, okay, that's not on the album version. That is different. So I took a snippet of it, sent it to you guys, and y'all were like, okay, yeah, we do hear that. And then I'm like, all right, cool. And then I actually ripped it, posted it, even showed it to Jimmy Jam. And not only was he surprised by it, he shared it. He reshared it on his Instagram. So I don't know what's going on with Apple Music or whatever, but there are some different mixes. And Johnny is all over it. He's just riffing all over it. There's way more vocals on it. Maybe it's an earlier version. But yes, You're Not My Kind of Girl is the gift that keeps on giving. Yeah. And it gave in 2025.
And I think as much as I love the song, it is the lyrics. How do you tell a girl, look, you're a beautiful girl, you dress fine, you make a man a really good wife, but you're not for me? I mean, that's insane.
It's cold is what that is.
No, when he's saying you're beautiful, everyone would love you, but not me. And I think that's the beauty of Terry Lewis in his lyrics. But when we listen to music now, I think we fail to appreciate how men spoke to girls back then. And, I think
Randy, before you actually got married, and I don't know if it's you're married to the person you first ever met. I don't know, but did you ever meet a girl that you found attractive, but she just wasn't for you? Did that ever happen to you?
I had a period of time before I met my wife that I used to be very good at dinner dates and invite a lot of people over and you're good, but there's something missing. And at the time I knew what I wanted. So maybe that's why the song resonates to me, because I pretty much was that, but I wouldn't tell them. I'll almost make it very casual, like we're just hanging out and be friends. But yes, and I'll bring other people around to not make it too.
I think most of those guys who've had experience with ladies in the past, I think we've all kind of experienced that. And not only you've not found that lady, like you say, that you could reverse that. They've not found you. They say, oh, you're this, you're that, but we felt that rejection as well. So it cuts both ways, I think.
Yeah.
It's all part of growing up and dating. It's all part of
Stevie, one of the funniest things you ever said on this podcast, from what I remember, was you talked about how Ralph did it again when he did Do What I Gotta Do. This guy is always rejecting women. Gotta break her heart, because when you're Ralph and you have like the whole pick of the litter, your calves are too big. Yeah, go away. The shade of your eyes is a little too...
I'm going to say something here, and just before you answer it, just consider what I'm going to say. Most guys don't have options when it comes to women. I'm not saying all. Most guys, your average, most guys don't have those that the ladies have. So I'll just leave it there. But he's he's in the top 5%. That guy's got options. And fair play to him.
Yeah. V, on to you.
Yeah, I will. But Andrew, about that, You're Not My Kind of Girl, I just say one thing quick. That is an incredible discovery. Thank you for sharing that and finding it, that needle in the haystack. And I'm glad that Jimmy Jam liked it and the rest of it. That's an incredible story. But the most important thing is we have a new version of that new edition gem that we can enjoy, and that is an incredible discovery. So thank you for that. And what number are you on?
Number 9.
Number 9. My number 9 is also by the same group, and this is arguably one of my favorite 12-inch covers. It's new edition. It's this song. I don't know where am I going. Here we go. That, can you see that?
Yep.
That's the one. If It Isn't Love, it's so good. That song is just so good, and I have nothing bad to say about it. And I feel it should be higher up, but this is like
classic. It's an absolute classic.
It's an absolute classic. I have a friend. He does some podcasts, and he did one on Jam and Lewis, and I found this remarkable. He didn't include any new edition tracks in his 30 tracks that he did on his podcast. And I asked him, I said, what happened there? Why didn't you want to include Jam and Lewis? He said, I don't rate them as highly, or I don't know them as highly. I said, well, if you listen to them and you really knew them from back in the day, you'd definitely include them, because he's a very knowledgeable music guy. He included everything else that you'd expect, all the Alexander O'Neills, the Shirelles, the Janet Jacksons, and everybody, SOS Band, and everybody in between. So I just found that interesting, and I wanted to get your take on that. Like, why would anybody not include New Edition? What could be the reason other than they didn't know it? That's the only thing I could think of.
That's the only reason, really. It's the only reason.
Because those songs, the New Edition Jam and Lewis tracks, are as good as anything that Jam and Lewis have ever done. It's on par with all of that stuff. So yeah.
And then if It Isn't Love is their signature track, that's they've got the routine, if you think New Edition now, you don't talk Candy Girl, Popcorn Love. It's if it isn't your love, is it if it isn't love? Beyonce did that video as well. So yeah. Anyway, so what do you got now, please?
If It Isn't Love.
Yeah, sorry, Stevie.
That's my
number 9. I don't know. Arguably, this is his most deepest track. I'm trying to think of, because normally when this guy does ballads, he's very much the lover man, influenced by Barry White, and most of the tracks are quite sexual. I'm trying to think of other tracks on other albums that he done were quite deep. Natalie was quite a deep track on I'll Be Sure.
Sexy Verses, yeah.
Very deep track. But I think this is the deepest track, because I really feel this track, Naturally Mine, which you both have picked, is made my 9. I'm hypnotized by that. Just something hypnotic about that track that just draws me in, against a lot of the other swing beat tracks. But yes, again, it's just time for me, that track.
I just reposted the Carl West interview around the making of In Effect Mode, and he said that was his favorite of that album. And we still have to say that I don't know if Albie Shaw gets credit as a songwriter. Albie writes Carl does the music and Al does the lyrics. And when we talk about songwriters, we talk about Face and stuff, but I don't know if people remember Albie Shaw as a songwriter. All the stuff they did with Tevin and Usher and others. I mean, Al wrote all the songs of his album apart from when they did covers. So I think he just gets overlooked as a writer for lyricist. Yeah. Night.
You guys have talked about this song a lot, so there's not much more I need to say about it, except that I do remember, kind of like what Steve was saying earlier, I definitely went through my share of heartbreak and feeling, a little overlooked or dissed or whatever. And it's just kind of like, I thought I had you in my pocket, girl, zipped up tight and secure. Then somehow I let you slip away, or you just actually was like, yeah, I'm not feeling you anymore. And then for the pressure has been more than I can endure, but my heart will always be the same. My heart for you will never change. My heart will be this way without you. It's just another lonely day. My heart was just that song that just made me, you know what? I'm hurting right now, but I'm going to channel this hurt into determination to just be doper, and that's what that song was for me. It was like, I'm telling you guys way too much, but when after a breakup, you go to the gym and you're like working out harder. You're like, yeah, man, I'm going to show them, Anyway,
Oh,
Yeah,
he's,
right.
he's flashbacks.
Yeah.
Drama.
We're with
He's
you,
just like,
dude. We're with you. We're on the same page.
Like,
dude.
So, anyways, My Heart by Troop. What up, John? I love that you're hearing this. My Heart is number 9. It's the second appearance by Troop on my list. So there's one more.
Wow.
Brilliant.
Okay, number 8. Yeah, this was it? Yeah, this is my highest rated I'll Be Sure track on the album, and it was, I think it was the song that really blew up when I was in boarding school, and it wasn't until recently that I realized when I spoke with ADF and Jimmy Jenkins that actually Jimmy Jenkins was his mannerisms and his lyrics and what he used to come up with, his sayings, were legendary around the music industry. That everyone, even TL Cross was Tone was saying that everyone sounded like Jimmy Jenkins. You know, when he comes on here, he's cooking as he's talking, he's doing his live scream with me. But he was saying that. So when you listen to Off on Your Own Girl, when I'll Be Sure saying whatever, that was Jimmy Jenkins. He will always say whatever, man. And so Al just took that and put it in, and I was like, my goodness, how influential was he that he put it in the track? But I just love his falsetto. I want to know what's on your mind. I'm like, oh goodness, how you get there? And then he comes up with the bass, you know, and I'm like that. So this song, when it came out, and he's wearing his denim, was like crazy. Like, man, Off on Your Own Girl, I'll Be Sure. That was the first track I saw and I heard, and my favorite from that In Effect move, Off on Her Own Girl.
Nice
I'll Be
choice,
Sure.
dude. Very nice choice. I'm glad it's in this list somewhere because it needs to be. Brilliant. Really good.
Okay. V, on to you.
So my number 9 is Al B. Sure's original version. The remix is fantastic, but it's the original version produced by Teddy Riley. If I'm Not Your Lover. I absolutely love this song. It's so good, man. It's such a good song. It's just great. And I picked this odd little test press up recently. It's the US promo on a white label. So on this white label, you've got If I'm Not Your Lover, 12-inch remix, LP version, R&B mix, and 7-inch mix. So it's the same as the US promo 12, but it's a white label test pressing, and it's just a nice piece. And the sound quality is very, very good. But Al B. Sure deserves a lot more recognition than he gets. Anybody that knows me, they'll know that I'm quite fond of a group called Jodeci. And that first album would not be anywhere near as good as it was if Al B. Sure didn't contribute the way he did. So Al B. Sure's contribution to that, groups like Lade, Tevin Campbell, all of the things he's done, he is an incredible songwriter and producer. So
Definitely.
we need an album instrumental, don't we? Was there any? I'm just trying to think. Was there any pressings with the album instrumental on?
no,
It's guitar groove, you know.
it's very good. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I'm sure AI can muster something up.
It definitely can. Yeah, they're doing a lot anyway. Stevie.
Number 8 is my final pick from Troop. I really wish I'd have heard this track back when I was 14, 15 when the album came out. It's a track that actually, shameless plug. I've been playing it quite a bit on my radio show as an oldie on my R&B Fresh show. I just keep playing just because I love it so much. It's the track that's got production and writing from Z Luke from Art Zamorin and Mike C. It's got a moog, that funky moog groove, great. Oh, She's My Favorite Girl is at number 8 from Troop. What a track! And I wish they'd released it as a single.
Yeah.
What a
Can
track!
you imagine the mixes of that? Can you imagine the mixes of that?
It's got a Prince feel of that as well. It's got a real Minneapolis Prince feel to it. What a great track that is. Just doesn't get talked about. But go and listen to that track after the show.
Yeah.
Makes you feel great listening to it as well. Such a happy, sweet vibe.
As we said, they came out of all the months to come out. I mean, it's just crazy. If they'd come out 2 months earlier, they would have had the space. No, beginning of the year. but it's just, I mean, you just can't look at all the, look at that. It's just hard to find airspace when we've just dealt with these guys. So yeah. All right, nice. So John
Yeah, I
Jones,
just gotta say, I was
Stevie.
scrolling through Instagram, and I saw you playing "She's My Favorite Girl," Stevie, and you created doubt in my brain. I was like, oh man, should I pick that one? But anyway, so I'm just telling you that really happened. Anyhow, at number 9.
No,
And
number
if you-
8.
Shit,
Number eight,
oh, God.
number eight.
Number eight. Sorry, guys. I'm all like distracted. You're right. Number 8. And if you believe in love and all that it can do for you, give it a chance, girl. You'll find romance. And if you can find a tender Saloni that is right for you, make it official. Give her your love. You guys know it. It kind of goes, my heart belongs to Aroni. She's my only lover. She's my only love. My only heart, baby. Yeah. She's my only love. She's my only love. So I had to get a little more animated because that distracts from my voice. So y'all can just like Roni is number 8. All right.
And can I just say something to you, Andrew? Like
Yes.
every time you sing, I mean, this is me personally. I feel a bit bad because I get so excited. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna sing. Then I realize I can't sing. Then I'm like, you better just sit back
I
down.
don't want to do that.
No. I'm not a singer. I'm definitely not a singer. But I'm excited, so I'm singing with my inside voice. I'm going crazy here, man. I tell you that.
Well, Ezekiel's waiting for some background vocals. I tried a little bit, but anyway. Can someone give him a record deal? Right?
Well, listen, with AI coming along, it could happen.
That's
You know,
It could happen, definitely.
we could create Andrew Knight as the next new Jack Swing star with AI.
That's it. That's what we should do.
The AI clone.
So my number 7 is the first entry by Mr. B. Brown. And
Wow.
I mean, yeah, so first entry at number 7. And I do wonder because at the time it wasn't one of my favorites. It grew on me, but it's one that just goes back and forth. But I have 2 other tracks on this album that I always go to, but it's in my top 3. And it was the song that made him a superstar. This was, without this song, there was no magic Bobby Brown. You know, all the other tracks on the album were good, but this was the song that made him global. This was the song that got him his first Billboard 100 #1, and everyone took notice, and that's Prerogative. Now, the story is, this was supposed to be, guys, Teddy had the beats, Timmy was supposed to write the lyrics, but they said, it's too late, we need to go to press. And so Teddy sat with the stuff, and when Timmy left the group and Bob came around, you know, he gave him the track, you know, Aaron and Bob and everyone came on board and wrote it, but it would have been a guy track had it, you know, and Timmy said it, and I just saw Teddy confirm it that, yeah, it was going to be a guy track, but we just didn't have we just had too much stuff. And, you know, I think Teddy played the beats of it, so that Timmy heard it, but it wasn't stuff that he put together. So Prerogative, you know, and first time we really, not first time, but, you know, right, Ted, and I'm like, oh man, they're just giving name dropping Ted, and then you heard it in Just Got Paid, and then also, I think those were the first 2 that, you know, they dropped Teddy's name when Johnny Kemp says, I can't remember what he called. He says Ted somewhere, but anyway, Prerogative, number 7.
You got to thank God they gave Bobby that track.
That was it.
Because what if they would imagine if they'd have kept that for themselves and Bobby never got it? Could have been, history could have changed.
Oh yes,
a different way.
Yeah,
there'd probably be no Usher, no Genuine, no any, like, because Bobby
People don't realize it's these stories.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
That is a crucial story in R&B history that shaped move forward. If you really think about it, just that one song going, changing hands from Guy to Bobby Brown blowing up, and then years later you've got Usher, got Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Could have all changed that. People don't realise.
Yeah.
But don't you sometimes think? Don't you wonder about alternate universes and how it would
Hell
have been?
yeah.
Like, just imagine if that was like Melodic's just saying. I could hear Aaron singing that. Just imagine if that was a Guy song. That wouldn't have sounded bad. It wouldn't have been a rubbish
No,
song.
it wouldn't.
It would have been amazing. But it might have meant might have catapulted Guy to heights, different heights. Who knows? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Sliding doors moments. As
Yeah,
like
it's just like Poison was written for I'll Be
I'll
Sure,
Be Sure.
and
Yes.
he passed on it. And then, but I don't know if it would have. I think what's the name? BBD had it was the whole look. It was the whole.
Same with Bobby. I feel like the My Prerogative video is iconic. Like it's literally the crowd, him dancing, the two dancers.
yeah.
Like it's the whole package. And with BBD, the same thing. The whole mental thing. Like it happened the way I think the better thing happened. But to Nij's point, I love alternate universe stuff. Can you imagine if Mystical Magic had come out? Can you imagine if Ralph had done his first album like that, like debut album was come out like 88, 89? Like so many things.
The one I think about is if Guy released, they had the album in 88, they did one in 1990. Imagine if they had an album in 92, 93, and then another one in 95, and then one in 97, and then that one in 99. My brain just discombobulates because I cannot even imagine how amazing that version of reality would be, because Guy would be the dominant force, or they would be a dominant force. And they're not. And that kind of makes me sad, because I think like Guy are like the pinnacle for me. They're like the best. So yeah, alternate universes are fascinating.
Okay. Who's probably me? So Vijay, you.
Yeah. Just wanted to say, Block D just mentioned he had a breakup yesterday, and I'm glad that this conversation is helping you. Breakups are difficult, and we're with you, bro. And just take it easy, man. And Ezekiel said about backing singers, if we're going to have backing singers anytime soon. No, Andrew's going to continue to take lead, and we're just going to stay quiet for the foreseeable future. And also, Joaquin said about if me and Stevie have Discogs collection. I am on Discogs. My middle name Jode there. If you just type that in, you'll find me. That is me. I've got about 10% of my collection up there. My number 7 was not a single. It is also by that wonderful group New Edition. And because they didn't have a single, I thought I'd show you this random thing. It's a cassette single for something called Voices That Care.
Yeah, sorry. I Ralph leads that. Yes.
Ralph Tresvant and Bobby Brown are both. You know it? Is it good? I've never opened it.
I should have done that. Anyway, I just cracked. But anyway, yeah, Ralph leads the. Sorry, guys, I just got excited.
That's cool. That's cool. I don't know the song.
It was a Desert Storm.
It's still
song.
a sealed
That's
copy, so I don't know what
it came out in the U.S. It's
Is it good?
It's schmaltzy. Yeah.
Okay. I saw Ralph Tresvant, and the next name on the list is Celine Dion, and I gave up hope. Anyway, I digress. My number 7 is no shocker. If a New Edition song, it's "I'm Coming Home." It is sampled in BBD's "In My Crib" in 2001, as we mentioned in the previous podcast. But "I'm Coming Home" is the yin to Johnny Gill's yang with "Giving My All to You." I see those two songs as kindred spirits. One is where Johnny's just taking it all away. The other is with Ralph taking it all away. And Johnny's obviously on this one as well. But "I'm Coming Home" is just so good. And it is blasphemous that it is not Pyro.
It's probably the only track on that album. I think one of the only that's if it came out in '96 on the Home Again album, it probably would still sound like it fits. Yeah.
I would have died if it came out on that '96 album. If it was a single,
as I said, it just sounded the way they recorded it there. It could have just been put on there. Yeah,
exactly. I agree with you. Yeah, that's my number 7.
My second choice from New Edition, If It Isn't Love, makes my number 7.
Okay.
And I've left out, it killed me to leave out Can You Stand the Rain. It was either If It Isn't Love or Can You Stand the Rain. And If It Isn't Love, it stayed in there. I'll be honest.
choices,
That's the
man.
one that stayed in. I don't really need to say any more about that track. It's a classic.
It is.
No, yeah, it's a big.
Okay, Andrew.
I'm going to redeem myself from that Crack Ralph imitation. But I'm also going to stay true to my promise to not imitate an Aaron Hall-led one. So that already gives it away. Boom, boom, boom. At number 7, are we at? Number 7?
Yeah.
Yes. I have seen sometimes I used to hang all night, girls back to back. I knew it wasn't right, never thought that I would ever meet a girl so fine, so fresh, who could rock my world. Oh God, I'm hooked into her web. Sorry, fellas, I apologize, but I have to step. Got a feeling, a hunch by the look in her eye. She's my inspiration. I need her in my life. You know that it's true. You can call me crazy. You can call me crazy. At number 7, baby. That's the one. That's the one. And
You
so
was in tune. You was in every line. You was actually in tune there. That's your best. That's been your best performance yet.
Wow. Okay.
So that's how
in tune, totally. That was as good as that was almost as good as Timmy's voice.
Someone said, "Chill, Andrew, chill."
People can't see this at home.
Yo, but like, so that's my last guy one. So just saying, guys, like, no, I like, no group.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that is just wrong. It's wrong. But anyway, that's it.
I mean, so that if you listen to it now, knowing that I'll Be Sure is on there, you can listen to the first verse and the chorus, and that's I'll Be Sure. Then Timmy starts the intro, he talks, and then he does the second verse, and you can tell. But I mean, unless you hear the story, you can tell the difference. But it is such a funky track. That's why Gene Griffith says, "We're taking it back. We're taking that track back. That's too funky to give I'll Be Sure. Take it back." And hey, no, everyone was afraid. Hey, even John gives you some seal of approval. Okay. Number 6 for me is my no. This is my first Sky track at number 6.
Wow.
And I think anyone, if you guys please look at the Making of the Guy album when Timmy Gatling goes through each of the songs from Groove Me down to My Business. He talks about what was going on and stuff. And I asked him about this song. I said, "Tell me about Don't Clap, Just Dance." And he says he was at the club with Aaron and they were just looking around for inspiration. And he just looked around and saw some girls just standing there. And, and he says, "Man, don't, he just said, look, why don't you just dance? You're trying to sit down and do like that." And I'm like, but it is such a funky song. And when you think of the lyrics, it said, "Don't clap, don't clap, just no. What's it? Don't clap, just dance.
Yes.
Don't dance, just clap your hand." Oh goodness, VJ must have been
We'll keep going. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, there he is. Okay, yeah. So that to me, I mean, as I said, as my first Guy entry, I mean, there was so many I missed out. But I just loved that. It was so funky, so the whole vibe of it and stuff like that. You Can Call Me Crazy was close, but I just love that. Don't Clap, Just Dance.
Yes. Very nice. That's a great choice, man. It's in there. That's all that matters, man. That's amazing. My song, somebody has recently sung pretty much the whole song, and I thought I'd share. It's the same song. So my number 6 it samples Roland Corporation's D50 21 Digital Native Dance from '87. If you listen to that sample, you're like, oh, that's where Teddy got that sound from. So if you do listen to that, I think you find that fascinating. And because it's heavily Timmy Gatling on this song, I thought I would share this. This is Kids at Work. And this is, I don't know if you can see that. That's Teddy Riley, Clarell Henderson, and Timmy Gatling on there.
Nice.
But yeah, You Can Call Me Crazy, my number 7.
Okay, you also picked. Okay,
Yeah, nice.
You
love
can
that.
call me crazy.
I love that song. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant song.
Yeah. Stevie.
I'm really impressed that you picked that guy track, Namdi. I would not have expected you to pick that at all. You've really surprised me this evening with that.
Yeah, I think I went through I mean, the Guy album is, is it's my second favorite after another the Keith Sweat one. So I know the tracks, but it was like, which one catches me? Yeah, go ahead,
When I used
Stevie.
to go from about 92 to about 95, when I used to go clubbing on a Saturday night, when I was getting ready to go out, getting myself, some clothes on and get the cologne, I'd always play that track. I'd always put that track on my vinyl. And that is the one track I'd play to get me in the mood for going clubbing. So that's why I'm like, wow. That memory's only just come back to me. I'd completely forgotten about that, actually. Number 6, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever because this could be my very favourite track by this artist, even though it's only my second pick from this artist. But it's Bobby Brown. It was never a single. There was a remix to it, a 7-inch remix that ended up on the Bobby Brown Gold edition. And I even told VJ there's a 7-inch Pro. I ain't even got the Pro. He's got it. He owns a 7-inch Pro. I told him and he whipped it off straight away. But I ended up getting the CD with a mix on anyway. But this could be my all-time favourite Bobby Brown track. Even though it's my second shot. I'll Be Good to You.
Brilliant. Oh my God.
Deary me. Even when he did, I only, because of social media and YouTube, we've only seen that performance he did in that. What was it?
227.
Yeah. That lit in his red and black outfit.
Yeah. I mean, it was effortless in his dance. How he danced.
On that track, his legs were like made out of elastic band almost. It was like, wow.
And they have the nerve to call Chris Brown his equal. I'm like, Chris Brown is their parent to Michael. I'm like, you
just show him that clip. Show him that clip where he ends up in that classroom and bust those moves, and it's all over. It's all over. But yeah,
I wondered though if at the time I didn't appreciate it because they didn't release it, but I wonder if they had. It's really funky. I wonder if they had released it as a single. Would it
come out as a promo single with an extra bit of drum fillers in it, which was amazing.
It was released in Japan briefly, but it wasn't released as a proper single.
Yeah, and with a video and everything. I mean,
if it was, that would have been amazing because that's as good as the LA and Babyface tracks, in my opinion. It's as good as My Prerogative, in my opinion. I think it would have been a brilliant song, brilliant single.
I mean, if we ever do like a GR Productions top 10, that's going to be in it for me.
Oh, it's in there, definitely in there, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's good call.
Yeah, okay, nice.
All right, so I gotta balance it out and not be extra. So this is going to be a nice mellow version. Number 6 rather, is my final appearance by the Brown Bomber, aka Bobby Brown, and it is the title track to the Monster album, Don't Be Cruel. There's a dope remix that I heard on the radio once, and I'm not gonna do it, but there's a part where it actually does, like, it's just different. So I'm gonna breadcrumb that, and if we get to it later at some other podcast, I'll attempt it. But I gotta balance out the talking and the singing. So a talking round. But there's more singing coming up. Don't you worry.
Okay. Number 5 for me is my last entry from New Edition. And when I first heard this song, I thought it was Ashford and Simpson. I first thought it was Ashford. I thought it was a man and a woman doing a duet. And it's Boyz II Men. Because Ralph's voice was so tender, and he had Johnny with his deep voice, and I'm like, and so it is, we've talked about the story that's grown up, the fact that this song created one of the most successful R&B groups thereafter, based on hearing this song and thinking, we need to call ourselves Boys to Men. But I think it's such a pity they never released this as a video and a single, because it's such a powerful song. And the story from Jimmy, actually Johnny, he hated the song. He felt like, man, why are you putting me this old man stuff?
Johnny, I think, is at least notorious for just not like knowing like the good song. Like, he will just be like, "Oh, I hated my. I hate it." Like, like I'm like, "Whoa, thank God you're not allowed to pick your singles, dude."
I mean, it's a classic, and I think it's amazing that a lot of us are picking it, even though it wasn't released. But it just shows you what it sounds like. Yeah, I mean, Hopeful also thought Ralph sounded like a woman. It was just, his voice was so tender, and he had the man. I was like, and you listen to a radio as a kid. I thought it was Ashford Simpson. But yeah, that was it. Anyway, VJ, what's number 5 for you?
Number 5 for me is this is my first entry by this man. And I cannot tell you how much of a massive influence he is musically in my head, and how much I listen to him, and how much I respect his artistry. And considering how much I like Guy, you'll see where I place the rest of the songs. Because this is my first entry by this guy. Remember that, yeah? Mm-hmm. And it's this one. The same one as Andrew just mentioned. Don't Be Cruel.
Wow. Wow.
Don't Be Cruel.
Wow.
Absolutely brilliant song. I was toying around with some other options. I'll Be Good to You was one, but I ended up with Don't Be Cruel. Renge actually mentioned recently, he said that Don't Be Cruel is possibly the best R&B song ever made. And I just found that there was an interesting sentence from him.
Wow.
And friend of ours, and yeah, it had to be in there. That's my number 5. Don't Be Cruel.
Just want to make sure. Did you just say that was the first Bobby Brown appearance at number 5?
My first Bobby Brown appearance.
Damn.
You've loaded your top 5 then with Bobby Brown. Fair play.
Yes. Wow.
I'm just telling you who rules the roost with my ears. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying nothing else.
Okay. Okay, Stevie.
It's interesting because I'm getting onto my second Guy track. So it's top 5. So I've loaded my top 5 with, well, not loaded, but 2 of my Guy tracks in the top 5.
Makes sense.
I mean, I'm just memorizing now all the times that I used to go clubbing, how often I put this Guy album on my LP vinyl player and played it just to get in the mood for going out, because it was a going out album, and this track talks about going out at night and girls back to back. I almost want Night to sing the track again. We're so perfect because I can't do it. But You Can Call Me Crazy, easily in my top 5. You Can Call Me Crazy.
So good, man.
I never knew I'll Be Sure sang on that track. I'm
he's doing the chorus. He's the chorus and the first verse.
I'd have never known if he'd, I always thought it was Timmy Gatlin.
Yeah. I mean, they kept it quiet because they didn't know if it would affect anything. And plus, Warner Brothers would have just gone crazy. Like, what? Yeah. We just signed this kid. Even though I know he's an uptown guy, but they would have not allowed it to go out. So they had to pretend as if nothing happened. It's only 30 years later, Teddy leaked it out on during.
This is why they couldn't release it as a single. Then it would have had to been re-vocal by Aaron or Damien.
Yeah, and it probably would have lost it. I mean, I think the way he sang the chorus is, the way that it's, it's folklore.
What a great album cut! What an album cut that is.
Yeah, I would love to hear that out and about on the dance floor, man. I wouldn't lose my shit. I would.
Well, Andrew, if you do come over, if we do manage to do an NJS Forever party this year, you should come over to London. Maybe we make sure that is played.
Can I say something? I actually have 2 excuses, right? So check this out, and you'll both CV as well will appreciate this. If we don't do one in 2025 for the 20-year anniversary of the first party, we could do 2026 for the 20-year anniversary of the worldwide meetup in Amsterdam, or we could do 2027 for the 20th anniversary of our 20th anniversary celebration of New Jack Swing in 2007. So I already have it covered, man. Like the next 2 years, we have to.
Here's a crazy idea. Let's do all of them. Let's do all of them.
BBD 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Oh my God.
Okay, number 5 for you, Knight.
Number 5, also keeping it because I'm going to sing in number 4. So number 5, no surprise, the first entry by New Edition. So someone in the comments was like, "Where's New Edition?" I'm like, "I got you now, man." So number 5, the first appearance, New Edition with "If It Isn't Love." So nice and simple. No surprise that you've been paying attention to Andrew's taste. So
Okay.
I hate New Edition. They're the worst band in the world.
Well, yeah, you never talk about them ever.
Never.
Okay. Number 4 for me is my second entry by Mr. B. Brown. And I think one of them, we think about the master lyricist of Kenny Babyface. But also, I think watching the live performance of this song from that concert video just gave it some oomph. I guess this is why I got arrested, huh? I don't know if anyone. Probably one of his best ballads, Roni. I don't think "Can We Talk" can come close to this. I don't know. It is just such a. It was so easy for us. Then he had the rap that we could all rap along to. Think about Roni. She's the best girl, good old wide world. It was like easy for us to follow. It's such a. I remember when when he did the interview, then we showed the live performances and stuff. That was massive. As a kid, it was like Bobby was untouchable. He was just untouchable. I think that's why, I think, who was it? Somebody interviewed Omario, and he was like, yeah, Chris Brown and Michael Jackson. And he was like, don't insult Bobby Brown. You have no idea who Bobby Brown was. Why he's still adored by a generation, because we saw him as the second coming. Like, okay, we got Michael, but man, Bobby was just amazing. And this video, that whole performance, he was just, no one can, if you went around when Bobby was in 98 to 97 and 98, 99, you've missed. And that's all I could say.
So Dan, you just made me think of something I never thought about. I'm surprised. So the first time we heard kind of that tender rap that was more love, of course, was LL Cool J with "I Need Love," right? So LL made that kind of cool. So then to have an R&B singer say the truth about Roni, she's a sweet old girl, about the sweet, when rap was definitely not played on mainstream radio, but he kind of snuck it in anyway. Like that was revolutionary at the time. And the melody was so sweet, and it was such a perfect slow dance on the dance floor gymnasium high school song. It was, yeah, man, you're right. You're so right. And this is why I got arrested. He was a bad boy because going back to what Stevie said, like, girls do like bad boys. Sorry, there is a thing about nice guys finishing last. So, does she? No disrespect to Ralph, but does she want Mr. Sensitivity, or does she want like Rock With You and Roni? And I feel like 8 million, 1 million. I love you, Ralph. Trust me, I'm always imitating you. Trust me, but I'm just saying, Bobby had that swagger. So yeah, man.
I maintain this. The first 2 Bobby Brown albums, his rapping is so underrated. On the Bobby album, it's overrated because he's sounding tired rapping. But on them first 2 albums, when he's got that energy and he's got that vitality, his rapping sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
really
yeah,
good.
yeah. And Mike was saying Roni versus Can We Talk. I think Can We Talk was a nice generation, but Roni was the foundation, and it he even says Roni in Can We Talk, right? There's a part in Can We Talk where he says, just like a Roni.
Just like, you're right. Just like us, or something. I could not talk. I gotta find it. Anyway,
Can We Talk is a great song.
Yeah, no dishing it.
Great.
No
Both
dishing it.
great. Don't get me wrong,
Both great.
Ronnie's a great song. They're both great. They're both classic.
Yeah.
You
No
know,
dishing
it's a
it. No.
hard
He
thing, that.
did.
It's a
And
hard
just
thing.
like a Roni, you were too shy, but you were the
Great
only
song
one, so was
coming
I. Dude, I love this.
See,
But
see how you're
Face-
connecting the dots
But
subconsciously. I
Face
love
did
it.
say that he got it from PYT.
Yeah, a
Tenderoni. So Face said, yeah.
Yep.
Face said he got it from PYT, and then he put it on, did the Roni track. That's where the foundation of it. And then he he said Ralph hit back with Rated R.
Rated R was good though. I like Rated R. Andrew, did you like Rated R? Oh my
It
god!
was a great opening to house party too. But like, it's not. They're in different lanes, man. Sorry, guys.
Good. Oh, VJ, time. Yeah, go ahead, VJ.
Okay. Number 4 we are on, right?
Yes.
So my number 4 is by this group, and it is the song that Andre Harrell told us is the most important single of his entire career. It is Groove Me. It had to be in the top 5. Like I like Stevie's list more than my list, and I like so far, because I say that because I think he was doing some more obscure stuff, and I wanted to do the obscure stuff, but on this occasion I've gone with the more heavy hitters. I think last time I went with the more obscure stuff.
Well, you two inspired me to your selections in the last one. I thought, well, you guys are going really deep. And I thought, yeah,
that's what it was. But I've gone back. I've followed your suit. And I've gone more commercial. So Groove Me is my number 4. I just wanted to say that it samples the Mohawks, the Champs from 1968. It also samples 2 tracks from James Brown from 1974, namely Funky President, People It's Bad, and My Thing. So I didn't even know that these were samples used in Groove Me. So I just checked today, and that's new information for me. And
VJ, I've got a story for you. Just reminded me.
Go on.
This is 1987. Heavy D and the boys come over to Manchester to play at the, I don't know where they played at. It might have been the Hacienda, it might have been the Apollo. But I've got to shout my best friend, Andy Madata, because he actually was with Heavy D and Eddie F on that day. And I don't know how he ended up meeting up with him, because he went to the gig, but he ended up, I think he went to lunch or ended up talking to him. And apparently, God, I'm so glad I've remembered this story. Eddie F had he had a cassette tape in his pocket, and he said to my friend Andy, he said, we've got, I'm going to play you this. We've got this group coming out called Guy, and this is going to be the first single. And he played him Groove Me in 87.
Wow.
No way. That's incredible.
See, I'm just so happy because I remember him telling me this story about Eddie F. He had the track on a cassette tape and he played it him, and it was like, this is the new sound that's coming in, you know. So,
wow.
I wish I was there. I wish I'd have been there, but
and that's the thing, though. Like people give a lot of praise to Keith Sweat and Johnny Kemp for being like the first people to have this New Jack sound, etc. But I was convinced, and you've just corroborated that, what was in my head, that Guy have to have recorded some of this stuff in 1987.
Might have been later.
It's always been in my head.
It was, you know, but Heavy D definitely, the boys came over to Manchester that time.
That is just crazy. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Cal West was saying that Teddy was supposed to produce their album, and they were playing their demos, and Teddy was like, look, you guys have got it, because he was busy doing Make It Last Forever. So he was doing Make It Last Forever, and he was doing the Guy album. So even Timmy says he remembers being in. So he was busy doing those 2 albums that he could only do 1 track for Albert Shaw, and just gave them that space. So yes, you can imagine they were all recorded and around that time, 97, to come out in June of 88. So,
has that ever happened to you though, VJ, where you've been in a record shop and like a rep has come in from a record company, and he may have give the record some promos, or he may have had a tape and they played it in the shop to say this is what's coming out? I remember once I was in Expansion, and there's a rep from Jive Records came in, and at the time the R. Kelly album had come out, and he had a cassette tape. You know, Mike. Do you remember Mike Davis? Ain't No Stopping Us Now. He had that on a tape. He was playing that in the shop. Like, this is what we're coming out with. And he said to me at the time, we've got a new High Five album coming out, and R. Kelly's done some tracks on it. He was telling me all this at the time.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I have one record, which is it's a song called Honey Love, but it says that the artist is Guy.
Huh.
Wow.
What is that? It's written. So it's a white label. So it's somebody's written on it. So it's obviously they pressed the record. It's obviously Robert has done it, and the person didn't know. They're like, oh yeah, this sounds like Guy. Let's just put Guy on there, and they've done that. It's Guy and it's Honey Love. How mad is that? Wow. Doesn't that just reaffirm that R. Kelly or Robert? Sorry, I didn't mean to mention his name to everybody that's throwing a fit right now. Robert, isn't it mad that Robert did really absolutely steal Aaron Hall's style? It's just absolute fact. It's just a fact.
The radio station that I love so much, they had a spoof at the time, so like singing like Aaron Hall, like that was the spoof on that, you know. So absolutely, he totally jacked him.
Well, you think before R. Kelly got signed to Jive, he had a release out, didn't he, with MGM?
Yeah, Tab Dash. Was that Tab Dash?
Yeah, on Tab Dash. But if you listen to that, that is that song, that the production's a complete My Prerogative ripoff.
Wow.
Yeah, why you want to trip on me, or why you want to play me, or whatever.
It sounds like the whole thing is. It sounds like a Guy track to me. That
it is absolutely a Guy ripoff.
Also, just as we're saying this, Talk to Myself, Christopher Williams that's My Prerogative.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Timmy saying, hey, I said, Timmy, it sounded like My Prerogative. He said, yeah, that was supposed to, because we were supposed to write to it. And when Teddy gave it to Bobby, then, I needed to take this. That's why the proof that we had, that was supposed to be a Guy track. So he just said, just go ahead and
crazy, man.
But back then, you wanted to buy. That's what you want. We all wanted that sound, whether it's ripped. I can say it's a rip off now, but back then, that's what I wanted. I wanted to go each week and buy a record that just sounded like that. So
yeah. But I would always say, look, R. Kelly won't publicly admit it that he did take Aaron, but he learned to actually take it to another level. And so no one, by the time he came with 12 Play, no one said he sounded like Aaron. It was like, damn, So
I mean, I've just remembered the day I actually found that someone's just listed Why You Want to Play Me. I was in this record shop in Manchester called Spinning that sold a lot of soul and dance. And I was looking through the racks, and there it was, R. Kelly, Why You Want to Play Me. Now, I'd got his first album, but I'm like, imagine, I didn't even know this song existed. And I'm like, I took it to the counter, and I went, I want to buy that, but can you play it? He played, everyone's in the shop like, what's that? Oh, it's just some swing beat record that he wants. People were like blown away, and I walked out with it. I've never seen it since. I've never seen that record since in a record shop.
Yeah, I think TJ Waters summed it up perfectly. Everybody ripped off Guy. I think that's the sentence.
Yeah,
you don't need to add anything else. That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. That makes sense.
Go ahead, Stevie. What's number 4?
Oh, sorry. It's the last of my new edition selections, and it's the track we was all talking about before about as a guy you turn down a lady even though you think she's got everything, but it's not quite there. You're not my kind of girl. Do we need to say any more? But that is my favorite new edition track off the album. I just love that record. That is my favorite new edition record.
Sorry, I listened to it again just a couple of days ago, and I'm listening to the. It's not the way that you carry yourself.
The production as well. It is a mid-tempo swing track to me. That.
Mm.
Love the background vocals too.
Yeah. Go ahead, Knight.
Brilliant.
All right. And so this is a big moment in my life. So I love this song. It is the last appearance by this act. Here we go. Hope I don't mess it up. It's late at night. I hear the rain outside my window pane. Then it keeps going. Kind of slow burn. Ba-dum. What I wanna do, sneak out and go to Lover's Lane. Do, me and you. But I can't take this feeling unless it's you that's in control. I mess it up. It's natural, just like Romeo and Juliet. Jack and Jill were still in love together. We're still in love. Anyways, I
Oh,
love
you're on point
that
tonight. You're on point tonight. You're on
Thank
point
you.
tonight.
But I gotta tell a story, and I hope John's still here. So check this out. So I lived in Canada, okay? So we didn't get we did get Troop, but anyway, we didn't get 88 Troop. So I moved to the Bay Area, and there's a concert called KMEL Summer Jam. Troop performed at KMEL Summer Jam. As a matter of fact, the Troop documentary that's on streaming has clips from that Summer Jam performance. And I was taping, I have it on my cassette. I was taping that Summer Jam in my room, my bedroom, as a 9th grader, 10th grader. And the first time I hear "It's Late at Night," they actually did a snippet of that song live. And I'm like, what is this? And then, I went back because I thought Attitude was the first album. Like, I'll be real with you, right? So I went back and found Romeo and Juliet. That's why I called it in my head. But it was Still in Love. So that's at number 4. Number 4, people. So that is the final Troop appearance. But I think to be at number 4 on my top 15 is Love. So, man, y'all, that's the one for me.
Right. Yeah, as I said, it's my favorite of that album. And its timing, and that's the whole episode. This whole thing came about when Rodney B says we had to quickly do Attitude because New Jack Swing derailed our debut album, and I didn't realize, but that's my favorite on there. Young Girl was close. I almost had Young Girl in it, but I
He
thought
actually
this
says
was
"Don't talk, just listen" on Young Girl too. So I always wondered if Devontae grabbed that from Young Girl at the very beginning. I'm pretty sure he says "Don't talk, just listen" at the beginning of the track. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, keep going. Sorry, I just jumped in.
No. I was just saying that Young Girl was close to making it in my top 15, but I thought Still in Love was just a standout.
I think John's saying something to you, Andrew.
You didn't say anything about it though. Wow.
Is he saying it to you? I don't know. Have I read that?
Or maybe he told someone in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Either way, I'm glad that John remembers KMEL. He actually says that. This is a full circle moment for me. I'm telling you, that's like childhood, like my teenhood. I was like 13 or 14, and here I am. Like I got to sing it. Y'all, that set was so dope. Summer of '92, and man, this was good.
Unpopular opinion: the best Troop album is Deeper.
So and that was Summer of '92, baby.
The production is very, very good.
It's a stacked album.
Oh,
For me, it's Attitude.
Attitude. Yeah,
Deeper
definitely
for me
Attitude.
would be Deeper.
Attitude.
That Deeper album is like it's a cinema type album from start to finish.
It was good, but I mean, Attitude. I mean, especially they had.
Attitude's got great singles on it, but as a whole album, Deeper is just.
I'm with you. I'm actually with. I'm with.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I forgot to say one thing about "Don't Be Cruel." It's sampled in 17 songs, and that includes "That's My Attitude," which I thought was really interesting. I didn't know that.
Wow.
Wow. Didn't realize Troop wasn't making them.
Oh, I know why. Say don't be cruel. Hey, baby. That's my that's what they're referring to. Lyrics. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Hopefully, the reason why is I put the wrong Troop album and that's why I had to stand behind it. Okay, number 3, top 3, because this is probably a so powerful episode. We didn't realize how time is going. Number 3 for me is my is it Queer of the Bridge? Welcome. Number 3 for me is this was supposed to be Make It Last Forever Part 2. And Tammy said that it was a duet. And I guess Jean Griffin just didn't, because she didn't sign no papers, he just started to, they turned down her vocals. But Goodbye Love was supposed to be a duet with Tammy and Aaron. And
Oh, yes,
they started to turn down her vocals. But the crazy thing is that I didn't realize that was Tammy. It was when I spoke to Timmy and I said, "So who's the lady you?" He said, "That was Tammy Luke." I said, "What? Back in the 80s? You know, I thought Tammy just came out on the future." He said, "No, we've, you know," and he was upset that she, you know, if you look at the CD notes, she wasn't written on anything. But Goodbye Love. Go ahead.
No, go on, sorry. You said finish your point. I've got something down.
Yeah, I'll just say that Goodbye Love is it's my second guy track on there. There's just another track that's just out there. And Timmy says they were on the road and he didn't want to be tied down. So it was a story behind writing Goodbye Love. It was about saying, look, man, this is, you know, I'm on the road, I'm young, this is things are going around. I ain't, don't be around if I find somebody else. But it is, I love the track. And I'm sad that Tammy didn't get a full moment to shine the way Jackie got with Make It Last Forever. But this could have been something different. It could have been really a bigger track especially if they'd released it and all the women just singing along. Yeah, number 3.
Can I say something? I also love how Goodbye Love gets a little subtle shout out on Don't Go by Blackstreet. That no baby, no baby, no baby. Yeah. Like, you know, in the very beginning. So I just want to say Goodbye Love is just there was no way it wasn't making my top 15. So I love that it made your 3.
I think Mary sampled it in her My Life album.
Don't go.
Don't go.
The song Don't Go
away. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
There's two things there. Before we talk about, I'll talk about what you just said there, Andrew. There's a version of Goodbye, Don't Leave Me, which samples Goodbye Love.
Nice.
And that remix is very specific. It's incredible. If you haven't heard it, you have to hear it.
I think I might have heard it on stream.
On the Guy 3 album, there's a version of Goodbye Love, which uses the same production from that Don't Leave Me remix, which samples Goodbye Love. So it's Goodbye Love remix. It's like a loopy-loop thing going on. It's amazing. You need to hear both of those songs. Incredible. But I was going to say that another Uptown Records group was the Girls, and they had the biggest song that they had. The big song for me was incredible, was Wishing You Were Here. And the original demo of that was done by Tammy Lucas. And Tammy Lucas was the reference vocalist, female vocalist, and she did so many demos for Uptown artists. So she was around. It's a shame. I agree. It's just a shame. But yeah.
She was supposed to be signed, and she doesn't like the contract at Capitol. She said it was pretty much signing away, so she just kept it. So yeah. But anyway, lovely song. Oh, Stevie, what's your number 3? Top 3.
3.
Sorry, did you guys know that Teddy did 9 different remixes for That's My Attitude?
Not 9.
I don't know. That promo, US promo's got a lot of mixes on it.
Is it like 7? I thought it was 7 or 8. Is there 9? Well, if you include the original, well, I didn't know. Is that
maybe? I'm not sure if all of them came out, but he was saying he did. He did 9 different remixes for it. And Mucho was saying that was his favorite Teddy track.
7 mixes on the US promo. I've got a promo with a load of mixes on it. They weren't all on the CD.
There are 8 remixes on the versions I have. There are 8 remixes.
Yeah.
So if there's a 9th remix, I don't know about it.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Stevie. Go ahead.
Number 3. I really liked all the remixes from the first album from Guy. Apart from this one, I think the album mix was the definitive mix. I felt that the remixes didn't do it justice. I felt they should really have just done an extended mix and kept the sound of the album mix. I don't know what night's going on, but anyway, Guy I like, which has transcended itself into social media and trending, and that's my number 3. Guy I like. Yeah. My last entry for Guy. So,
wow.
But it will always be a favourite of mine, that forever. Will always be a favourite.
Where are we on number 4?
Number 3.
Number 3.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I have all 9 of them.
Did
Yeah,
I not
see-
say my number 3 then? I haven't said my number 3 then.
Oh shit. Oh, go.
Okay, I'll just do it quickly then. My number 3 is also I like Fantastic. It samples. I didn't know that it did this. Is this right? It samples the Barges I Like from 1982. Does it?
I don't hear it.
Ooh, when I like it. I don't hear it.
No.
No, I think that might be false information. It's sampled in 11 songs. That's it. That's my number 3. And unfortunately, considering how much I like Guy, that is my last entry for Guy. And Guy, nobody on this list is more important to me than Guy. So it makes no sense that Guy.
Same with me. Is at number 3.
It doesn't make sense. But if we're doing individual songs, then the other 2 songs that they edge it, and I'll explain that in a minute.
Okay, Knight, what's your number 3? Before
My
we go
number
to-
3, my number 3 is like I feel good about this because this individual definitely his first 2 songs were like 14 and 13, but his last entry is at number 3, and that is Mr. Albie Shore with Night and Day at number 3. So
Wow.
yeah, I rate that song very highly.
So, Teddy did a version of Off on Our Own. So he did his own production. No, so he did his own version of Night and Day, and really funky. Carl said it was great, but then Andre says, no, let's keep it in that poppy kind of tone, because that's gonna make it. So Carl West is saying there should be a version of Teddy's production of Night and Day out there. But Teddy did, when he first heard the demo, when it was still in his raw form, says, what's that Michael Jackson track that you guys are singing? And he called it that Michael Jackson type of the vibe. And that's how he knew it was going to be a hit from day one. And yeah, so Night and Day. Different from me, but yeah, definitely a track. Okay, so top 2. And this is probably... it's off of this album, off of this Don't Be Cruel, my favorite album, of course, my favorite track, this one. I would say that this is, if I was going to give props to L.A. Reid, I'm saying, look, the drums on this is off the wall. The whole thing about this stuff, and this was a different Bobby from the time he came out after he dropped other tracks. But when he first came out with this track, with Don't Be Cruel, he was relaxed and he was chill and he was young, and even how he dressed. I thought when the money came in and the success, he got a little hardcore, but I love Don't Be Cruel. It's the little rap in there. It's the fun part. It's the drums. And Ellie said, look, he was a drummer and he had a special way of programming his drum beats on as a producer. But the rumor was, when I was a kid, was it was meant for Karen White, but she didn't want the raps. And Karen says, man, I would have handled that. And Daryl Simmons says, no, it was not for Karen, because Karen did, I think she rapped in Secret Rendezvous, so she could have done it. But Don't Be Cruel, it's number 2 for me. It was edged out by another track, but Don't Be Cruel is number 2. Yeah, VJ.
My number 2, LA and Babyface produced track. It is obviously by the Brown Bomber. He has to be in there. And this song is absolutely phenomenal. I hear it and it just lifts my spirits in a way that I cannot explain. It is commercial as you like. You'll hear it in your local grocery store, and it's every little step. Absolutely wonderful production, and Bobby Brown's my hero from back in the day. So anybody that's got anything to say to me about putting Bobby Brown ahead of Guy, there's a reason for it, and it's because Bobby Brown is my hero, and yeah, it is what it is, man.
That video when he dropped that, oh my gosh!
But that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Like the album version and the video version are different, and that's for me, it's like I tried listening to the album version, I skip.
Yeah.
Because it's just not the same. It's not the same.
Yeah.
To me.
I don't like the album version. I mean, I wanted to. I mean, we saw 560 SEC, and it was like, wow, that's the Bobby Brown car. But yeah,
Bobby Brown. Yeah,
that
exactly.
is about, yeah. If you saw someone driving a coupe 560, but I would say that I actually didn't like the album version, and I think it was probably one of my least favorite songs after a while. Yeah, I think in the 88, 89, I loved it, but then subsequently it just became too poppy for me.
Yeah, makes
And
sense.
yeah, so, but anyway, Stevie,
One
what's
last
your...
thing from me about that
Go ahead.
song. It's been sampled in 19 songs. Anyway,
Stevie.
I'm just reading some of the comments. Don't be cruel, a little overrated. No. You've got
Marco,
there is
hard waters, please.
on some of these albums, right? What you got to understand on some of the tracks on these albums that change the sound, I'm talking about change the sound of R&B, and there's several of them. Include on the Guy album, Groove Me, on the I'll Be Sure, on the Bobby Brown. But at number 2, here's one of them. It's my final Bobby Brown entry. It was a number 1 in another podcast we did. It still should have been number 1 now, but it was just, as you would say, I don't know why it was edged by another track. But to me, this is Ellie and Babyface's best production. It's quintessential. It doesn't get any better than this in terms of production. But Don't Be Cruel is there for me. It's not even. I'm going to say it's their best ever production.
Yeah.
That one track changed the sound of R&B moving forward, because we'd never seen anything like that. We hadn't heard anything like that.
Yeah.
The rapping, the singing, the video. It was just mesmerizing. People were like, there was people in pop music when they saw that video were like, who is Bobby Brown? What is this? People who wasn't even into R&B were like, wow. So
it's true.
that's my argument anyway for that.
It had the melody, it had the soft part and the drum. It was. I mean, Babyface said they couldn't when they heard Prerogative and Make You I Wanna. They couldn't compete with that, so they had to move with the lyrics and play to their strength. But I think the best song on that album is, What
I was going to say really quick is that the singles progression was also genius, because Don't Be Cruel is like, who's this Bobby Brown guy, right? Get people open, and all of a sudden, bam, My Prerogative, right? Then come with Roni, Soft and Sweet, and then come with At Every Little Step, which was just like, what? White video, dancing, and then come with On Our Own, because that wasn't even the album, On Our Own, huge, and then Rock With You to bring it all home. So it was like a 6-single run that was like Bobby was the king.
Unbelievable.
But Don't Be Cruel was what just opened the door.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was,
my
Okay, go ahead.
Number 2.
Mac Band Roses Are Red. Yeah, very similar. Yeah.
Is I'm Coming Home by New Edition. So that is not a surprise to anyone. And that is New Edition.
I thought it'd been your number 1, actually.
Yeah, no, they always fight back and forth. So there it is. But I'm Coming Home was number 2.
Okay.
No surprise.
All right, guys. So we're gonna do from 15 before I give my number 1. So at number 15 was My Heart, Troop. Number 14 was Mamacita, Troop. 13, Still in Love, Troop. Number 12, If I'm Not Your Lover, I'll Be Sure. Number 11, Can You Stand the Rain, New Edition. Number 10, Rescue Me, I'll Be Sure. Number 9 was Not My Kind of Girl, New Edition. Off on Her Own Girl. Number 8 with I'll Be Sure. My Prerogative. Number 7, Bobby Brown, Don't Clap, Just Dance. Number 6 by Guy. Boys to Men, New Edition at number 5. Roni, Bobby Brown at number 4. Goodbye Love by Guy at number 3. Don't Be Cruel, Bobby Brown at number 2. And the song that defines New Jack Swing has to be number 1. There is no other song that says we have entered into a new era of music. And Groove Me was not just funky, it was a vibe. it got New York saying, "What is going on? R&B can be cool." Timmy Gatlin said that he called Teddy to see what's going on, and he could hear kids and a lot of people in the house, and Teddy was just cooking up the track. And he says, "Timmy, get over here, get over here. I've just got this new track." Timmy comes to the house and sees a lot of kids. So he said, if you listen to and you hear all these kids, all these young people in this, there were literally young kids inside the studio in Teddy's house. And he just got a piece of paper and then in 15 minutes wrote the lyrics to Groove Me. He just heard the music and he just, okay, let me shut it down, and came up with the lyrics. It is such a vibe. It was Uptown. This was like, when Uptown, they had Heavy D and the Boys, but this was what Uptown was like. Okay, what is Uptown? It was Groove Me. It was Harlem. It was the streets. That is what it is. So Groove Me, the greatest New Jack track out there. This was the cornerstone, number one for me.
No, that makes sense, man. That makes so much sense, man. And that makes sense. That makes sense for number one. Definitely makes sense.
Okay, Vij, 15 down to 1.
So 15, I had Mamacita or Still in Love. If I could have had, I was toying between those two. Number 14 was Albie Shaw's Naturally Mine. Number 13, She's My Favorite Girl, Chucky Booker track. Number 12, another Chucky Booker track, My Heart. Number 11, Albie Shaw, Night and Day. Number 10, New Edition, Can You Stand the Rain? Number 9, If It Isn't Love by New Edition. Number 8, Albie Shaw, If I'm Not Your Lover. Number 7, New Edition, If I'm Coming Home. 6, Guy, You Can Call Me Crazy. 5, Bobby Brown, Don't Be Cruel. Number 4, Guy, Groove Me. Number 3, Guy I Like. Number 2, Every Little Step. My number 1, I think there are 4 songs, four New Jack songs and 1 remix, 5 songs that I think define New Jack Swing. The remix, I would say, is Jane Child, Don't Want to Fall in Love. Guy, Groove Me. Johnny Kemp, Just Got Paid. Keith Sweat's I Want Her. And my number 1, I would have loved to have heard Guy's version of this, is My Prerogative. It deserves to be at number 1. It gets me in the mood. Anybody that wants to fight me about that, I'm right here, man. I love it. I love it. It's so good. It's brilliant. It's sampled in 17 songs, including a song by Robert called She's Got That Vibe, which I find fascinating. I didn't even know that. I don't know why that. But my number 1, My Prerogative, all day long. That's my lot.
Well done. Big shout out to Andrew from John. Stevie.
Number 50. Does anybody care who my number 15? Number 10. 15, Bobby Brown, All Day, All Night. Go and listen to that if you've not listened to it for years. 14, Albie Shaw, Just a Taste of Loving. Again, go and listen to that if you've not played it for years. 13, Guy, My Business. 12, Troop, My Heart. Number 11, New Edition, Boys to Men. Number 10, Troop, Still in Love. 9, Albie Shaw, Naturally Mine. Number 8, Troop, She's My Favorite Girl. What a revelation that track is. Number 7, New Edition, If It Isn't Love. Number 6, Bobby Brown, I'll Be Good to You. Number 5, Guy, You Can Call Me Crazy. 4, New Edition, You're Not My Kind of Girl. 3, Guy I Like. Number 2, Bobby Brown, Don't Be Cruel. Why is that not number 1? I'll tell you why. The year 1988 is probably one of my very favourite years of all time for music, for soul music. What an incredible year for soul music that was. Maybe it was the year that I discovered R&B and soul, or whatever you want to call it. I didn't even know it was New Jack Swing that year. I only, maybe a year later, I got it in my head it was New Jack Swing. But I just love 1988 as a year. I think this track, I'm not talking about New Jack Swing here. I just think this track, production-wise, sonically, was a million miles ahead of anything else that year, and has been for decades. Guy, Groove Me changed the sound of New Jack Swing and R&B. I would argue this track changed the sound of R&B, because this track doesn't sound like anything else big props to Kyle West, Roy Shamir, and I'll Be Sure. And I think this is the most sampled track out of everything you've mentioned in this list. But I'll Be Sure, Night and Day, changed the face of R&B for me. And it was one of the first 12-inch singles they ever bought. That extended mix, I'm in dreamland, absolute dreamland.
Very good.
But that's one of my very, very all-time favorite tracks. And I that did change in 1988. He won an award, a Sony Music Innovators Award. I would argue that changed the face of R&B as well.
I wonder if we ever heard the Teddy version. If we'd seen what Teddy did with it, he made it funky and new, and then Andre says, "Now let's just keep it pop R&B." So
is there a version? Did Teddy do one?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but Carl and I said, "Why didn't you do that? Put it as a remix?" But I think back then they just didn't understand what they had. He said it could be in somebody's studio. He wishes he still had it, but it was funky. But it lost the element of what the original came out to be, which was more appealing globally. But and that's what Andre's vision was. So that would have been interesting to listen to night and day.
Yeah, sure, man. That would have been crazy to listen to.
Yes. Okay, Andrew.
All right. Cool. Love Night and Day. And all right. So my number one, really quick though, is like not necessarily about like. Actually, I'll say that for the end. Number 15, I Like That, Troop. Number 14, Ooh, This Love Is So, Albie. Number 13, Naturally Mine, Albie. Number 12, Goodbye Love, Guy. 11, Piece of My Love, Guy. 10, Rock With Ya, Bobby. Number 9, My Heart, Troop. Number 8, Roni, Bobby. Number 7, You Can Call Me Crazy, Guy. Number 6, Don't Be Cruel, Bobby. Number 5, If It Isn't Love, N.E. Number 4, Still in Love, Troop. Number 3, Night and Day, I'll Be Sure. Number 2, I'm Coming Home. Number 2, I'm Coming Home. And number 1, if it was going to be like about like what defines New Jack Swing, I might have said like Teddy's Jam, or I might have said Groove Me. But that's not what I did. I just did what my favorite song was from that era. So to no one's surprise, of course, is Can You Sing the Rain New Edition. And that is all I wrote.
Great choice, bro.
Okay.
What he could have said, it is a Quiet Storm classic. That's what that track is.
And it's still, thank you, man. And it's still played to this day. I just feel like even kids like to this day who weren't from that era hear that song and think it's special. So
and if you watch part 2 on BET when they redo that song, that is an incredible movie, incredible moment in that BET special. Music, it makes me shed a tear.
Hard man, Steve.
Where they do the album cover, how they recreated the album cover with the car in the back. Oh my god, I'm on the floor at that point. I'm like, how? just gone back to my memories to 1988. They've just recreated it all again. Oh wow.
Yeah, and as I said, if I did a poll today and put that song even against Roni and Don't Be Cruel and Goodbye Love, it will always come. I think it's one of those sentimental songs that a generation just love, and that's like people still consider their greatest New Edition track.
I'm just looking at it. It feels like all the tracks were covered. Is any tracks that we've not mentioned that were outstanding? I think we covered near enough everything.
So there's an interesting list if you want to.
We need to
share it with you. So this is from everybody that sent the list. So this is the list from people that have submitted lists, and this is a more well-rounded list. This is like an overview. There are 32 songs that were included, so I'm going to whiz through these very, very quickly. At 32, Bobby Brown, All Day, All Night. 31, Troop, I Like That. 30, Guy, My Business. 29, I'll Be Sure, Just a Taste of Loving. 28, New Edition, Any Heartbreak. 27, I'll Be Sure, Ooh, This Love Is So. 26, New Edition, Boyz II Men. 25, Guy, Goodbye Love. Goodbye My Love. Goodbye Love. 24, Guy, Spend the Night. 23, New Edition, Crucial. 22, I'll Be Sure If I'm Not Your Lover. 21, Guy, Piece of My Love. 20 was Troop, Mamacita. Number 19 was She's My Favorite Girl by Troop. Number 18, New Edition, You're Not My Kind of Girl. Number 17, Bobby Brown, I'll Be Good to You. Number 16, Bobby Brown, Roni. 15, New Edition, I'm Coming Home. 14, Albie Shaw, Naturally Mine. Number 13, Troop, My Heart. 12, Guy I Like. 11, Bobby Brown, Every Little Step. Number 10, this is the top 10 now. Guy, Don't Clap, Just Dance. Number 9, Albie Shaw, Off on Your Own Girl. Number 8, Troop, Still in Love. New Edition is at number 7 with Can You Stand the Rain. Then you've got Bobby Brown, My Prerogative at number 6. Then you've got Guy, You Can Call Me Crazy at number 5. Guy, Groove Me is at number 4. Number 3 is Bobby Brown's Don't Be Cruel. Number 2 is Night and Day. And number 1 is New Edition's If It Is Love.
Oh, I did not see that coming.
I did
not see that coming. Wow.
People, out of all of the songs, out of everybody that submitted lists, they liked If It Isn't Love the most, which is incredible. It's a great song.
Well, I'm glad that
All
Still
of the
in
songs
Love
on any of these
also
albums.
made the top 6, well, top 10, right? What is it? Still in Love? Troop, was that number 7?
I think it was number 7 or something like that.
Still in Love was number 8.
Yeah. I mean,
how are we going to put these albums now 5 to number 1? That's going to be incredible.
Oh God, I wasn't ready for that.
I don't know. Do we not?
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. I mean,
Really, we're doing that? Okay.
Yeah, I think out of respect, we you know, out of respect, we just say, out of respect, we will just say that, you know, it was. Out of respect, 5 amazing albums over 5 weeks. Teddy had his hand in 3 of the 5.
Equal. They're all fantastic albums.
Teddy had his hand in 3 of the 5, and I don't think.
Well, what if you could only take one album on a desert island? Which one album would you pick?
I'll take the Guy album.
I'd take the Guy album as well.
If I just had to pick one to go,
I'd take the Guy album as well.
Which one would you pick, Andrew? The
New
Edition.
Let's all guess.
Yeah. Anyway, everyone, you know, we'd been away for about almost 3 weeks, so hence you might think, look at what we've just done after 3 weeks. It was going to be a big episode because it's going to be 15 tracks. We appreciate everyone, and we'll be back actually in 2 weeks when we just before these guys go to New Jersey for the massive Untouchables
Rock the Bells Festival.
Rock the Bells Festival, which is Untouchables and Uptown Records concert. But before that, we are doing the Battle of the Producers Part 2, Darkchild versus Timbaland versus the Neptune, and it's going to be another epic battle because when we Part 3 is going to be even bigger. Well, it won't be even bigger. It'll be fun as well. The Battle of the Producers. So 5 tracks from these 3 producers, and not the same artist and not the same album. So that's going to be interesting. I spoke with Darkchild a couple of weeks ago. He gave me 5 tracks he says he would include on the list if he was putting out his list. So it'll be interesting to see how many people will pick those 5 tracks. But guys, we appreciate
through 2.5 hours of this. Thank you. Wow.
I think it won't be. I don't think it'll be as long. I don't think it'll be. I think this was always going to be the bigger one. This episode. I think the others will probably do it within 90 minutes. But as always, for every single one of you guys who put stuff in the comments, you make the show alongside us because we read everything that's posted. You read everything that's posted. It makes a massive difference. John, it's always an honor to, we're going to have to get you back on another, when these guys come back, when the 3 of them come back from the States, so we could talk about
deeper album.
The deeper album, yes. So we'll be able to get you back on that. But Timmy, everyone, we love you, and Stevie, Knight, and VJ. It's been an epic. I didn't expect us to be up here 2.5 hours, but normally I'm falling asleep by this time, but because this was such a great episode, I stayed awake. So
We're still
we
awake.
thank you guys. Catch us in 2 weeks, and yes, we'll see you guys. Okay, I thought you guys were gonna wave and stuff, but
Oh, we got to say.
yeah,
we're
you can
saying
say, I'll
anything?
say goodbye.
Oh yeah, I've got something. I wanted to ask.
Go ahead.
I forgot to ask John one question. Why did my music not come out as a single? What was that about? What an incredible song!
I think
That was a great song.
that's why I said the Attitude album was a better album. I love my music with Dallas Austin, not Spinderella. Oh, what's her name?
Joyce Spenderella Irby.
Joyce, yes, Joyce. Yes, amazing production and stuff like that. Yeah, it's my favorite. They came hard. They said we needed to. They got left behind when in '88, so they came back right away. And who came back? You know, New Edition broke up. Bobby Brown took 3 years. Guy came out a year later, and probably Jodeci had already come in, and then we
High
didn't.
five.
Yeah, so I think they recovered quicker. Yeah. So anyway, that's for another episode. We'll get you. Yeah. Well, that's for another episode. But anyway, thank you guys, and we will see you guys later. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that category.
And somewhere in between.
Or even